Chapter 73. Terrifying mana fluctuations were spreading in the depths of the supreme secret treasure. Jun Xiaoyao's body was full of golden qi and blood. He was like a god of war. He used all kinds of methods, and his power was surging. The supreme demonic corpse, on the other hand, was surging with demonic will and murderous aura. Any celestial bridge realm or consolidation realm genius would be instantly smashed into a bloody pulp by such a terrifying demonic corpse. Only a monster like Jun Xiaoyao, who couldn't be judged by common sense, could compete with it. In addition, Jiang Xingyi was next to him. Her innate Taoist embryo was also a combat power that couldn't be ignored. Her every move seemed to be in harmony with the Taoist path. When she waved her hand, the mana surged and shook the void. Jun Xiaoyao was able to sense it when he made his move. His sacred body of the ancients was faintly becoming stronger under the aura of the innate Taoist embryo. This reminded Jun Xiaoyao of the ancient great emperor who had an innate Taoist embryo. Could it be that these two constitutions can really produce a qualitative change? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. He didn't think of turning his constitution into an innate Taoist embryo because it was too unrealistic, unless he could get it through the check-in reward. But that was too illusory, and the check-in reward couldn't be specified. Jun Xiaoyao thought of another possibility. This possibility might allow him to deal with the supreme demonic corpse in front of him. Thinking of this, Jun Xiaoyao directly transmitted his voice to Jiang Xingyi. "Sister Xingyi, I need your help." "What help?" Jiang Xingyi replied. "Inject the power of your innate Taoist embryo into my body and merge with my sacred body," Jun Xiaoyao said. This, Jiang Xingyi was also slightly stunned. She didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to come up with such a method. The innate Taoist embryo was indeed a very strong constitution, but couldn't be molded in such a way. "Xiaoyao, could it be that you want to create that kind of physique? But this is not something that can be done by imparting power. You need to do this." That Jiang Xingyi was at a loss for words as she spoke. A faint blush appeared on her snow-white and sparkling face. Jun Xiaoyao was slightly taken aback and was speechless. Were all women's brain circuits so strange? "Sister Xingyi, what are you thinking?" "I just want to try using the power of the innate Taoist embryo to increase the power of my saintly body to see if I can suppress the demonic corpse." Jun Xiaoyao replied helplessly. "Oh, so that's how it is." Jiang Xingyi bit her lip with a hint of shyness and awkwardness. He scolded himself for thinking the wrong way. At this moment, the supreme devil corpse changed its target and charged towards Jiang Xingyi. With Jiang Xingyi's physical strength, there was no way he could withstand a single blow from the supreme devil corpse. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao took a step forward and stood in front of Jiang Xingyi. Boom! The two collided. Jun Xiaoyao's body was directly knocked back, but he bumped into something soft. "Sister Xingyi?" Jun Xiaoyao turned his head, and Jiang Xingyi caught him in her arms. "Xiaoyao, focus." Jiang Xingyi made up her mind and directly activated the power of the innate Taoist embryo in her body. In an instant, the aura of the great path spread out. Jiang Xingyi's body was sparkling like the finest celestial jade. In the void around her, there were countless rune marks and Taoist patterns flowing. This scene was extremely shocking. Jiang Xingyi seemed to be the darling of the great path of heaven and earth. All kinds of Taoist patterns, celestial light, and runes appeared around her body. The great path of heaven and earth seemed to be paving the way for her. Is this the power of the innate Taoist embryo? Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. No wonder the innate Taoist embryo was as powerful as the sacred body of the ancients. This kind of constitution that was close to the way was terrifying. It was like the darling of heaven and earth. Jiang Xingyi poured the power of the great path of the innate Taoist embryo into Jun Xiaoyao's body. In an instant, the innate Taoist embryo and the sacred body of the ancients seemed to be resonating. The power between the two felt like water and milk. It was a very strange feeling. It was like reaching some kind of climax. Jiang Xingyi's face was slightly flushed. She bit her lips and did not make a sound. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, felt that his sacred body of the ancients was even more powerful. It was like he was on steroids. On the opposite side, the demonic supreme corpse seemed to have sensed some kind of instinctive danger. Its blood-red eyes flickered. This movement was also noticed by Ji Xian and the others. The power of the innate Taoist embryo. What is Jun Xiaoyao doing? Ji Xian's heart sank. He had a bad feeling. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao was shrouded in celestial light. Golden divine light and the light of the great path flickered around him. Although this state was far from being comparable to the real innate Taoist embryo. Compared to the pure sacred body of the ancients, it was much stronger. It's time to end this. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. At this moment, he was like a high and mighty deity making a judgment. Even when facing the demonic supreme corpse, he was still confident. Jun Xiaoyao completely activated the power of the sacred body of the ancients. In the void around him, figures began to appear. Each figure was sacred and transcendent. They carried the aura of the saint plane. It was as if many saint lords had appeared in the void. If one counted carefully, there were at least 10,000 figures. This is the sacred body vision. Jiang Xingyi also came back to her senses. She suppressed the strange feeling in her heart. When she saw the scene in front of her, her pupils trembled. The power of the sacred body of the ancients was not limited to the unparalleled physical body. The sacred body vision was also a major killing move. Jun Xiaoyao had yet to use the phenomenon of his saint physique all the way until now. It was not that he did not want to use it, but that no one was qualified to make him use it. Now, facing the demonic supreme corpse, Jun Xiaoyao finally used the sacred body vision, the reverence of the 10,000 saints. This vision was also supported by the power of the great path of the innate Taoist embryo. One could only imagine how powerful it was. Supreme Yuan-Tian, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Rest in peace after death. Jun Xiaoyao stepped into the void and stood with his hands behind his back. His expression was as indifferent as a god's. At this moment, all the figures of the saints bowed and worshipped Jun Xiaoyao. It was as if they were worshipping the only god in the world. This scene was shocking to the soul. Rumble. A terrifying aura came crashing down. The golden divine light shone in all directions. The ordinary demonic corpses were directly blasted into powder by this power. Even the demonic supreme corpse was greatly suppressed. Its strength dropped by more than 40%. Under the illumination of the divine light, the black gas all over its body began to sizzle and emit white smoke. The sacred body of the ancients had a suppressive effect on all kinds of evil powers. After being magnified by the vision, the effect was even more prominent. Not only was the demonic supreme corpse suppressed, but all the gray fog in the depths of the supreme treasure began to melt and disintegrate under the sacred body vision. At the same time, in the great wild forest outside, the sky observation mirror floating in the void was originally shrouded in gray fog. The scene inside could not be seen clearly. However, the gray fog began to disperse. Then, the scene inside the supreme treasure was imprinted in the sky through the sky observation mirror. Look, the sky observation mirror has begun to operate. Hiss, is that the corpse of Supreme Yuan-Tian? Why is it demonized? Oh my God, pinch me. Am I seeing things? The son of God of the Jun family is fighting the demonic supreme corpse? F*CK. How is this possible? This is F*King ridiculous. When the sky observation mirror showed the scene in the depths of the supreme treasure of Yuan-Tian, the entire great wild forest was in an uproar. Tens of thousands of cultivators were tongue-tied. Their eyes widened as if they had seen the most impossible miracle. Everyone was frozen in place. Their mouths were wide open in disbelief. Even the elders of the imperishable orthodoxies who were sitting cross-legged in the void opened their eyes wide. They almost lost their balance and fell from the sky. The complete book. Chapter 74. The old Taoist of the Daoji heavenly sect was stunned. He opened his mouth slightly and said, "Is that really the son of God of the Jun family?" Even the old Taoist, who had been cultivating for many years and had a steady mind, was stunned. It was obvious how shocking this scene was. "Yes, it is the Son of God," the elder of the Jiang family said in a trembling voice. As the son of Jiangrou, Jun Xiaoyao was half a member of the Jiang family. The elder of the Jiang family was very happy to see that Jun Xiaoyao could compete with the demonic corpse at the supreme level. Maybe it's time to find a way to deepen the relationship between the Son of God and the Jiang family. For example, a marriage with Luo Li would be a good idea. The elder of the Jiang family had started to think about how to draw Jun Xiaoyao to the Jiang family and tie him to the Jiang family. After all, it was rare to see a genius who could compete with the supreme demonic corpse at the celestial bridge stage. The elder of the Ji family, Ji Bangyin, was also as stiff as a clay statue. He couldn't say a word. This was too shocking. The elder of the Zulong sect and Long Bichi were also completely petrified, especially Long Bichi. When she saw Jun Xiaoyao using the divine body vision to suppress the supreme demonic corpse, she was overwhelmed by a strong sense of fear and powerlessness. Although Long Bichi was afraid of Jun Xiaoyao, she didn't think he was invincible. At least, Long Outyin and the others, who were still in seclusion, were absolutely qualified to compete with and even defeat Jun Xiaoyao. But now, seeing this scene, Long Bichi was so dizzy that she couldn't even stand steadily. She now felt that even if Long Outyin came out of seclusion, it would be extremely difficult for him to defeat Jun Xiaoyao. Not to mention the others. Even Jun Zhantian's face froze for a moment. Then he was overjoyed. Originally, he had thought that Jun Xiaoyao had come to the supreme secret treasure to show his face in front of the world and raise his reputation. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's performance was too dazzling. It could even be called a miracle. Even Jun Zhantian was shocked. It would only take a few days for this news to spread throughout the entire Huangtian mystic realm. Jun Xiaoyao would also become synonymous with invincibility among the younger generation. The Jun family's reputation would naturally rise as a result. As for the other tens of thousands of cultivators, they were all shocked when they saw Jun Xiaoyao being worshipped by the 10,000 saints and easily suppressing the demon corpse. His eyes were filled with horror and shock. One of the cultivators took a deep breath and said, "Although the supreme devil corpse of Yuan Tian may not be as powerful as it was when it was alive, it's still not something that the younger generation can contend with." That's right. Even Heaven Ascension Realm and Divine Fire Realm experts would find it extremely difficult to deal with this demonic corpse. A Divine Fire Realm elder of a large power shook his head slightly. The Son of God of the Jun family is so terrifying. All the cultivators present felt their scalps go numb, and their hearts couldn't calm down for a long time. As for the female cultivators, when they saw Jun Xiaoyao, who was wearing a white robe and was as transcendent as an immortal, they were all stunned. His handsome and celestial demeanor almost made them drown. Countless female cultivators blushed, imagining that they were Jiang Xingyi and could have intimate contact with Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao, who was in the supreme secret treasure, naturally didn't know that the outside world was in an uproar because of him. Jun Xiaoyao focused all his attention on dealing with the supreme devil corpse. He had to admit that the effect of the sacred body vision was far beyond Jun Xiaoyao's expectations. He originally thought that it would be good enough if he could weaken the supreme devil corpse by a few percent. He didn't expect that it could also purify the evil black fog inside the demonic corpse. Right now, the supreme devil corpse's strength had been suppressed to the extreme. Jun Xiaoyao took a step forward and blasted out his palm. Carrying the power of the sacred body of the ancients, it bombarded the supreme devil corpse's chest. The power of the sacred body of the ancients was extremely effective against evil. Coupled with the suppression of the sacred body vision, the black fog inside the supreme devil corpse was dispelled again, and white smoke came out. The black hair on the supreme devil corpse began to fall. The pair of blood-red eyes gradually returned to darkness. Two soul fires, like candles in the wind, lit up in its eye sockets. Jun Xiaoyao knew that it was the last wisp of Yuan Tian Supreme's will. "Junior, are you the one who freed me?" Wisps of intermittent divine thoughts were sent out from the soul fires to Jun Xiaoyao. That's right. Jun Xiaoyao also transmitted his divine thoughts. It's the sacred body of the ancients. No, it's the sacred body of the ancients that has broken the shackles. There is also a wave of surprise in the divine thoughts. Obviously, Jun Xiaoyao's sacred body, which had broken the shackles, also surprised Yuan Tian Supreme. Senior, how did you end up like this? Jun Xiaoyao asked through his divine thoughts. The foreign land, the change, the source of darkness. The divine thoughts were transmitted intermittently. The foreign land, the source of darkness. Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly. I seem to see a man in white with his back to the world, suppressing the end of the darkness. Alone, alone. The remnant of Yuan Tian Supreme's soul continued to say something that Jun Xiaoyao couldn't understand. However, Jun Xiaoyao also speculated that the reason why Yuan Tian Supreme fell and his corpse changed so much after death was probably related to the so-called source of darkness and the dark matter. However, these are not things that Jun Xiaoyao could come into contact with at the moment. At this time, the remnant of Yuan Tian Supreme's soul transmitted again. Between your eyebrows, there is my inheritance, the sword of the primitive emperor. Jun Xiaoyao was slightly surprised. As expected of a supreme, even if there was only a wisp of his soul left, he still had such a powerful perception. Since there is an inheritance, it must be fate. That thing is in the wooden box. The rest may be in the lower world, the continent. The remnant of Yuan Tian Supreme's soul transmitted intermittently. It was like a candle in the wind that couldn't hold on for long. Jun Xiaoyao memorized it one by one. Her family is also in the lower world. The ancient talisman is a keepsake. Please take care of her family. Yuan Tian Supreme said through his divine thoughts. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. He finally understood why those demonic corpses in Yuan Tian Supreme's demonic corpse didn't attack him when Ji Xian held the ancient talisman. It turned out that the ancient talisman was a keepsake of Yuan Tian Supreme and his wife. His wife also had a family in the lower world. Finally, I beg of you, let me return to dust, dust to dust, Supreme Yuan Tian said through his divine will. Then he bowed to Jun Xiaoyao. This scene caused everyone inside and outside the Supreme Treasure to be shocked. Because Jun Xiaoyao and Yuan Tian Supreme were communicating through their divine thoughts, no one else could hear their conversation. However, they could see the Supreme's corpse bowing to Jun Xiaoyao. What's going on? Even a Supreme is bowing to the son of God of the Jun family? Outside the Supreme Treasure, everyone gasped and felt their scalps tingle. The son of God of the Jun family was too unpredictable. Inside the Supreme Treasure, Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly and said through his divine thoughts, Senior, don't worry. I will do my best. Rest in peace. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand, and golden magical power surged. Yuan Tian Supreme's corpse didn't resist at all. It turned into a handful of dust and dissipated. A Supreme of a generation disappeared just like that. At the same time, Ji Xian saw this scene on the other side. His heart sank to the bottom of the valley, and his whole body was trembling. The entire book. Chapter 75. Ji Xian sensed that something was wrong when he saw Jun Xiaoyao suppressing the Supreme Demon Corpse with the Sacred Body phenomenon. Now, his face was as pale as a sheet when he saw that the Supreme Demon Corpse was completely destroyed by Jun Xiaoyao. It was as if he had been thrown into a cold lake in the dead of winter. His whole body was trembling. He had always wanted to escape with the Great Shift Talisman after snatching the wooden box. However, Jun Wanjie kept pestering him, making it impossible for him to free himself. Ji Xian, didn't you say that if the young master could defeat the Supreme Demon Corpse, you would stand upside down and pee? Come on, I'm watching. Jun Wanjie sneered. Ji Xian's face turned green when he heard that. He was extremely embarrassed and felt a burning pain on his cheeks. Damn it, I must get that wooden box. Ji Xian gritted his teeth with a ferocious expression. Jun Xiaoyao's methods had almost caused his Taoist heart to collapse. If he could even defeat the Supreme Demon Corpse, who else could do it? Although there were all kinds of factors involved, the result was indisputable. If Ji Xian could get the item in the wooden box, he might have a chance to fight with Jun Xiaoyao in the future. However, if he couldn't get it, then Ji Xian could only live in Jun Xiaoyao's shadow for the rest of his life. Thinking of this, Ji Xian's expression became fierce, and he immediately used a forbidden technique of the Ji family. In an instant, blood burst out from all over his body. His qi and blood burned, and his cultivation level rose steadily. In the end, he reached the perfect consolidation realm. Get out of my way. Ji Xian's aura suddenly soared. His right arm, which had fused with the Saint King's hand bone, punched toward Jun Wanjie. Even Jun Wanjie was caught off guard and was directly pushed back. Jun Zhangjian and Jun Xuehuang also reacted at this time. They wanted to rush over, but it was too late. Ji Xian took the opportunity to grab the wooden box with one hand. The greatest fortune in the supreme treasure is mine. Jun Xiaoyao, the next time we meet, you'll have to look at me in a different light. Ji Xian laughed heartily and prepared to use the greater teleportation talisman to flee. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's face carried a hint of mockery. Jun Xiaoyao smirked coldly and said, "Bringing utter despair to your very bones when you're at your most hopeful moment. That must be a wonderful feeling." He activated the primitive Emperor Dao sword in the divine palace between his eyebrows. A beam of dazzling divine light shot out from his glabella, filled with the laws of the Dao. Amidst the divine light, a dazzling divine chain of order flew out and transformed into an inch-long golden dagger that charged straight at Ji Xian. It was the primitive Emperor Dao sword. The primitive Emperor Dao sword was one of the 5 great divine arts that was on par with the immortal slaughtering sword art. Although it was impossible for Jun Xiaoyao to display the terrifying power of Supreme Yuantian, it was still not to be underestimated. The short sword swept out, and Dao laws filled the air. The surrounding void seemed to be cut apart, and a sharp whistling sound was heard. This was too sudden, and no one had expected it. Ji Xian hadn't expected this either. And the primitive Emperor Dao's sword was too fast. Ji Xian didn't even have time to take out a protective item. Splat! In the blink of an eye, Ji Xian felt a tearing pain. He was shocked to see his right arm being thrown away. "No!" Ji Xian roared, and his eyes were about to pop out. Jun Xiaoyao extended the demon wings behind his back, and his figure flashed. He raised his hand and grabbed the Saint King's arm, along with the wooden box and the ancient talisman. All these things happened in a short moment. No one had expected Jun Xiaoyao to have such a trick up his sleeve. In the outside world, this scene was also reflected by the sky observation mirror, and it was displayed in front of everyone's eyes. Could it be one of the 5 great divine arts, the primitive Emperor Dao sword? How is that possible? Isn't this Supreme Yuantian's secret technique? It's rumored that it has been lost for a long time. Maybe it's an opportunity that the son of God of the Jun family found in the secret treasure. F***CK. The Saint King's arm was cut off by the Saint King of the Ji family. Many cultivators cried out in surprise. Previously, because of the gray fog, they did not see the battle between Jun Xiaoyao and Ji Xian. But now, Jun Xiaoyao only used the primitive Emperor Dao sword to cut off Ji Xian's greatest reliance, the Saint King's arm, in one move. It was a fierce blow. Damn it, what is the son of God of the Jun family trying to do? In the sky, Ji Bongyin's expression changed instantly. He had previously said that Ji Xian was prepared and was very stable in the secret treasure. He even said to Jun Zhangtian with a calm and proud face that he should be worried about Jun Xiaoyao. But now, the arm of his own genius had been cut off. This made Ji Bangyin so angry that he could not remain calm. Don't worry, my grandson is not a demon. He won't harm Ji Xian's life. Jun Zhangtian snorted. Just as he finished speaking, a voice rang out. From the sky observation mirror, Jun Xiaoyao once again activated the primitive Emperor Dao sword and rushed towards Ji Xian's head. It was obvious that he wanted to kill Ji Xian. This! Jun Zhangtian looked up at the sky speechlessly and pretended not to see anything. Ji Xian hurriedly took out a teleportation talisman. The surrounding void rippled, and his figure instantly disappeared. Inside the secret treasure, Jun Xiaoyao looked at Ji Xian, who had disappeared, and shook his head indifferently. In fact, it did not matter to him whether Ji Xian died or not. After all, Ji Xian's Dao heart had completely collapsed and would not pose the slightest threat to him in the future. Moreover, he had already obtained the most important thing: the Saint King's hand bone, the wooden box, and the ancient talisman. Jun Xiaoyao was especially interested in the wooden box. What exactly is the great opportunity that Ji Xian has been thinking about? Jun Xiaoyao looked at the wooden box. However, he did not open it directly, because Jun Xiaoyao knew that the scene inside the secret treasure had been completely revealed by the sky observation mirror. Jun Xiaoyao naturally understood the principle of not showing off one's wealth. Even though his identity made it so that ordinary people wouldn't dare to target him, he was still a powerful figure. However, it was inevitable that other immortal forces would take notice. If this opportunity was too attractive, it would also attract a lot of bad people. Jun Xiaoyao put all of those things into his spatial power item right away. Jiang Xingyi did not have any objections. It could be said that it was almost all thanks to Jun Xiaoyao that they were able to suppress the supreme demon corpse. She was just assisting from the side. Therefore, the opportunity naturally belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. As for Jun Xiaohuang and the other two sequences, it was even more impossible for them to have any thoughts. Everyone, let's go out. This trip to the secret treasure has ended successfully. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. He was in a good mood. 4 ancient dragon bones, 1 supreme ancestor dragon bone, the wooden box, the Saint King's hand bone, and a mount that he had subdued along the way. It was more than successful. It was simply too successful. Jun Xiaoyao and the others left the depths of the secret treasure and then met up with Jun Linglong and the 9-headed lion. The geniuses and cultivators of the other major forces also left one by one. However, as soon as Jun Xiaoyao and the others stepped out of the supreme treasure, a voice rang out. 2 majestic auras rose almost at the same time. One came from Ji Bangyin of the Ji family. The other came from Zulong's blue dragon lineage. It seems that there is still a little trouble. Jun Xiaoyao said calmly with his hands behind his back and a faint smile on his lips. The entire book. Chapter 76. Jun Xiaoyao and the others appeared at the entrance of the supreme treasure. Jun Xiaoyao was dressed in a white robe and looked handsome. Even though he had just gone through a battle, he was still clean, as if he had just returned from a walk. His calm and carefree demeanor made many female cultivators around him scream. Their eyes were full of excitement. Jun Xiaoyao was simply the Prince Charming in their hearts. However, before these fans could get excited, 2 majestic Saint Stage auras burst out uncontrollably. They were from Ji Bangyin and the elders of the Azure Dragon clan. The 2 majestic auras directly caused the noisy, great desolate forest to instantly descend into silence. Many important figures of the factions had serious looks in their eyes. They knew that what was going to happen next would not be so easy to resolve. Jun Xiaoyao was indeed unscrupulous in his actions. He had beaten up the dragon girl of the Zulong sect and forced her to flee. He had cut off the arm of the little saint of the Ji family. It could be said that the person who had done this was not Jun Xiaoyao, but a prodigy from another faction. The moment they came out, they would have been killed by the elders of the Zulong sect and the Ji family. Jun Xiaoyao, don't go too far. Don't you think you've gone too far? Ji Bongyin's face was cold and extremely ugly. Beside him was Ji Xian, who had been teleported out by the Great Shift Talisman. However, at this moment, Ji Xian's face was pale and his eyes were blank. His left hand was covering his broken arm, and he looked like a walking corpse. Anyone with discerning eyes could see that Ji Xian's Dao heart had completely collapsed. For a prodigy, losing a battle was not scary. What was scary was that even his Dao heart had collapsed. Then, he would be completely hopeless and become a cripple. When Ji Xian, the little saint of the Ji family, first came to the supreme treasure, he was so high-spirited and confident. But now, he looked like a walking corpse. No wonder Ji Bangyin was so angry. Going too far? How am I going too far? It's just a normal sparring session. In the face of Ji Bangyin's Saint Stage aura, Jun Xiaoyao's expression did not change. He was very calm. He wasn't even afraid of the Supreme Being level demonic corpse's pressure. So how could he be afraid of a saint's pressure? You old bastard. What do you want to do to my grandson? Jun Jiantian's figure flashed as he arrived in front of Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, the elder of the Blue Dragon bloodline arrived with Long Bichi. Long Bichi was cowering behind the elder. She looked at Jun Xiaoyao with fear in her eyes. Although her Dao heart wasn't as broken as Ji Xian's, it wasn't much better. At the very least, Jun Xiaoyao had left a shadow in her heart. Jun Xiaoyao, let's put aside what you did to the dragon princess of our clan for the time being. However, the dragon bone was originally taken from Zulong by his Supreme Yuantian. Shouldn't it be returned to its rightful owner now? The elder of the Azure Dragon lineage said in a deep voice. Given Zulong's domineering nature, the elder of the Azure Dragon clan would have taken the dragon bone by force if it had been another force that had obtained it. However, the one who had obtained the dragon bone was the son of God of the Jun family. This made the elder of the Azure Dragon clan feel very troubled. Zulong, who has always been domineering, has learned to be reasonable. However, I obtained the dragon bone with my own abilities. Why should I return it? Jun Xiaoyao smiled with a hint of sarcasm. The elder of the Azure Dragon clan's face twitched slightly. Then he said, Fine, we'll forget about the 4 sets of ancient dragon bones. However, the supreme ancestral dragon bone must be returned. Hearing this, Jun Xiaoyao sneered. Zulong, don't be so shameless. Have you forgotten the pain Supreme Dragon suffered so quickly? How dare you, young man? Jun Xiaoyao exposed Zulong's scars in public. The elder of the Azure Dragon clan's face darkened, and he couldn't help but scold Jun Xiaoyao. However, just as the elder of the Azure Dragon clan was scolding Jun Xiaoyao, suddenly, a high-pitched and sharp sound of a guqin rang out in the void far away. The sound of the guqin turned into a killing blade that cut through the void and directly swept towards the elder of the Azure Dragon clan. The sharp power made the saints' scalps tingle. Slash! The guqin killing blade flashed past and directly cut the elder of the Azure Dragon clan in half. Bright and crystal-clear dragon blood spurted out. One move had severely injured a saint. There was an uproar of shock in the surroundings. The elder of the Azure Dragon clan even retreated quickly with unprecedented horror in his eyes. Who did it? The elder of the Azure Dragon clan asked in a trembling voice. However, there was no response. Jun Jiantian's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. Xiaoyao, it seems that your protector has made a move. Protector? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly. This protector of his was also mysterious. He didn't even show up. However, using guqin music as a means of attack was somewhat novel. Your protector has a powerful background. You'll find out in the future, Jun Jiantian said mysteriously. Jun Xiaoyao narrowed his eyes. Who on earth was this protector that the Jun family had assigned to him? However, the speaker didn't mean it, but the listener did. All the cultivators around who heard this conversation had hidden horror in their eyes. The Jun family had assigned Jun Xiaoyao such a powerful protector. One had to know that ordinary immortal forces would at most assign saint-level protectors to the geniuses of their clans. It seems that the son of God of the Jun family has an extraordinary status in the Jun family. Many people exclaimed. The elder of the Azure Dragon clan endured his injuries and closed his mouth tightly, not daring to say anything else. He was afraid that if he said another word, he would be sent to the netherworld in the next moment. Ji Bongyin's expression changed even more. He was extremely afraid and didn't dare to say anything else. Just like that, a troublesome situation was easily suppressed. It seems that the two of you have nothing else to say. Then, I'll take my leave. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Before he left, he didn't forget to mock them. The elder of the Azure Dragon clan and Ji Bongyin's faces turned purple, but they didn't say a word. The people of the Jun family and the Jiang family left together. It wasn't until they left that the elder of the Azure Dragon clan and Ji Bangyin roared. Their voices shook 3,000 miles. The two immortal forces had never suffered such a loss before. The Jun family is indeed one of the 3 great families of the Yu family. They suppressed the 2 immortal forces some cultivators exclaimed. The secret treasure of Yuan Tian ended with such an ending. In the beginning, many people guessed that the son of God of the Jun family should be the most outstanding person in this secret treasure. However, they didn't expect him to be so eye-catching. He almost overshadowed the other geniuses' brilliance. The dragon girl of Zulong, the saint of the Ji family, the nine-headed lion of the far ancient royal family, the sky-swallowing sparrow, and so on. None of them was a match for Jun Xiaoyao. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao even suppressed the supreme demonic corpse. Everyone's eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. If the news spread, half of the Huangtian mystic realm would be shocked. There were already rumors that Jun Xiaoyao would be one of the few people standing at the top of the mystic realm in this era. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao had completely become famous in the Huangtian mystic realm through this trip to the secret treasure of Yuantian. However, some people were happy, while others were sad. In Nantian City, a man and a woman appeared. They were Wu Mingwei and Xiao Chun. The complete book. Chapter 77. What do you mean by those who stand at the very top? That Jun Xiaoyao is so vicious, evil, and cruel. Is he even worthy? Along the way, Xiao Chun heard all kinds of rumors about Jun Xiaoyao. His expression turned gloomy, and he could not help but curse. Wu Mingwei, on the other hand, remained silent. She seemed to have something on her mind. She gradually realized that Xiao Chun did not seem to be as perfect as she thought. Xiao Chun's vicious attack on Jun Wanjie made her feel as if she was looking at a stranger. And now, Xiao Chun's face was full of hatred, but his heart was full of jealousy. Of course, Wu Mingwei would not alienate Xiao Chun just because of these reasons. After all, Xiao Chun had many good points. He was determined and unyielding, and he treated her well. Xiao Chun noticed that Wu Mingwei seemed to have something on her mind. He thought that she was worried about returning to the imperial court, so he asked, "Mingwei, is there really no other way?" Wu Mingwei heard him and shook her head slightly. She said, "I think that guardian of mine has found her." Just as she finished speaking, an old woman in a palace robe came from the void in the distance and landed in front of Wu Mingwei. A saint. Xiao Chun's heart skipped a beat. The pressure was definitely that of a saint. The old woman in the palace robe saw Wu Mingwei and bowed slightly. She said, "Your Highness, I've been looking for you. Granny Gui, you finally found me." Wu Mingwei sighed and was not surprised. "Your Highness, you've caused enough trouble. It's time to go back," Granny Gui said. "Yeah, what about after I go back? You want me to marry that arrogant marquis champion who has many concubines?" Wu Mingwei sneered and said, "Not necessarily. Only the most outstanding man is worthy of you, Your Highness. This time, the Jin dynasty will hold a banquet for you and invite all the young talents of the forces in the Huangtian mystic realm to decide the final candidate for the prince consort. Also, I heard that the son of God of the Jun family is also here. Do you have any connections with him, Your Highness? If it's him, he might be a good choice," Granny Gui suggested with a smile. Wu Mingyue's expression became unnatural when she heard this. She did not just have connections. She had already become Jun Xiaoyao's slave. However, only she and Jun Xiaoyao knew about this. Xiao Chun, on the other hand, was furious when he heard that. Of all the people Granny Gui could have mentioned, she just had to mention Jun Xiaoyao. It was as if she had bumped into Xiao Chun's gun. Is Jun Xiaoyao even worthy of a finger from Mingyu? Xiao Chun said coldly. Where did this wild brat come from? How dare he speak to me like this? Granny Gui frowned and released the pressure of a sage. Xiao Chun was not Jun Xiaoyao, so there was no way he could withstand the might of Saint. Immediately, he spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards. Wu Mingyue's expression changed, and she shouted in a low voice, "Gui Momo, stop." "Princess, who is this kid?" Gui Momo asked. "He's the eldest prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon," Wu Mingyue said. "Oh, so it's a prince from a small country." Granny Gui's face was so calm that there was a hint of contempt. As a saint of the Panwu Jin dynasty, she was indeed qualified to look down on him. This old witch. Xiao Qin got up and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His expression was cold as he thought to himself. Xiao Chun, I'm sorry. Are you all right? Wu Mingwei asked. Seeing that, Granny Gui said plainly, Your Highness, please understand who you are. A prince from such a small country is not worthy of being with you. Your husband has to be at least as powerful as the divine child of the Jun family. He must be a supreme genius with a strong background and extraordinary strength. That's enough, Granny Gui. Mingwei will go back with you. Wu Mingwei ordered her to stop talking. That was because she had already seen Xiao Chen's gloomy and terrifying expression. Princess, please. Granny Gui did not bother to argue with a small fry like Xiao Chun and said plainly. Wu Mingwei followed. Xiao Chen clenched his fists tightly and said coldly, Don't look down on me. When Mingwei chooses her husband, I, Xiao Chun, will personally step into the palace of the Jin dynasty. Heh, an overconfident aunt. Granny Gui did not care and left with Wu Mingwei. Wu Mingwei looked back and opened her mouth slightly. Looking at Xiao Chen's determined face, she could not say the cruel truth. If she said it now, she would have already become Jun Xiaoyao's slave. Xiao Chen would probably explode on the spot. Sigh, I can only take one step at a time and see if there's a chance in the future to get Jun Xiaoyao to remove the slave seal for me. Wu Mingwei sighed in her heart. Xiao Chen watched Wu Mingwei leave step by step. His fists were clenched so tightly that blood dripped from between his fingers. Great Ancestor, now that we have lost the dragon bone, what should we do? Xiao Chun asked in his heart. Without the dragon bone, his spell of dragon transformation in blue heaven could not be improved, and his strength could not be improved. What would he use to snatch the bride? Using his head? Sigh, that son of God of the Jun family is really scary. Master Blue Dragon sighed. He had never seen a young man with such terrifying strength and shrewdness. In comparison, although Xiao Chun was excellent, he was far from enough. Great Ancestor, I must become stronger, marry Mingwei, and become the son-in-law of the Jin dynasty. Otherwise, there is no way I could defeat Jun Xiaoyao. Xiao Chun gritted his teeth and said, he was not a fool. He had thought of a way for himself to succeed. In that case, there is only one way left. Master Blue Dragon sighed. Please tell me, Great Ancestor, as long as there is a glimmer of hope, I will not give up. Xiao Chen said eagerly. Do you know where I got this spell of dragon transformation in blue heaven? Master Blue Dragon suddenly asked. Please tell me, Great Ancestor, Xiao Chen said. I got this skill by accident when I entered a secret realm in an ancient nest. It is very likely that an ancient freak named Zulong is sealed in that nest, Master Blue Dragon said. Zulong? An ancient freak? Xiao Chun was surprised. There were indeed some geniuses who sealed themselves in the immortal and divine sources in their respective eras for various reasons. They would wait until a certain era in the future when they had the opportunity to prove their Tao. These geniuses were called ancient freaks. Each of them was extremely terrifying, and they could dominate the world in their eras. Those who had sealed themselves for a few eras were not too far away from the current generation of geniuses. However, if they were ancient freaks who had sealed themselves for dozens or even hundreds of eras, then that would be terrifying. They simply couldn't be judged by common sense. That ancient nest is very hidden. I'm afraid that even Zulong does not know about it, Master Blue Dragon said. Great Ancestor, the opportunity you mentioned is, Xiao Chun said. The ancient freak who sealed himself in that ancient nest must have an extremely shocking background. You might be able to find the blood of the Azure Dragon's sovereign in there. With the sovereign's blood, your Azure Heaven materialized dragon art still has a chance of reaching the greater perfection stage, Master Azure Dragon explained. Great. I will go to that ancient nest later. Xiao Chun clenched his fists in excitement. Of course, you have to be careful. If you awaken that ancient freak, the entire mystic realm will be shaken. No one in the younger generation of the mystic realm may be able to defeat that ancient freak, Master Blue Dragon said in a serious tone. The birth of an ancient freak was not a small matter. It was very likely that the current generation of geniuses would be suppressed. No one would be able to compete with it. However, Xiao Chun did not hear the warning. He only wanted to get the blood of the Azure Dragon sovereign to make himself stronger. Then, he would go to the Panwu Jin dynasty to steal the bride. As for the consequences of awakening the ancient freak, it was none of his business. The whole book. Chapter 78. In Nantian City. After the matter of the secret treasure of Yuan-Tian was over, the masters of various forces gathered in the city were ready to leave. Jun Xiaoyao was going to return to the Jun family. Jiang Xingyi was also going to return to the Jiang family. Jun Zhanjian and the others sensed the atmosphere and retreated to a distance. Jiang Xingyi was dressed in a snow-white robe. Her figure was slender and graceful, like a snow lotus standing alone in the world, untainted by the mortal world. Her beautiful face was snow-white and crystal clear, as if it was glowing. Because of her innate Taoist embryo constitution, her entire person seemed otherworldly, as if she was about to be sublimated. It was as if standing next to Jiang Xingyi could help one comprehend the Taoist principles. Sister Xingyi, your constitution is really enviable. Standing next to you, I feel like I'm about to comprehend the Taoist principles and ascend. Jun Xiaoyao smiled casually. If other people stood in front of Jiang Xingyi, they would definitely feel ashamed of their inferiority. But Jun Xiaoyao was completely different. His otherworldly temperament was not inferior to Jiang Xingyi's. In fact, it was even better. Then if I stay by your side every day, won't you be able to comprehend the Taoist principles every day? Jiang Xingyi joked and smiled. Then, she suddenly realized the ambiguity in her words and couldn't help but blush. She recalled the feeling of being in perfect harmony with Jun Xiaoyao's divine body in the secret treasure and felt her cheeks burn slightly. Jun Xiaoyao didn't seem to notice and smiled faintly. Inside the secret treasure, it was all thanks to Sister Xingyi. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't have been able to suppress the demonic corpse by myself. Don't mention it. I was just an assistant. Jiang Xingyi shook her head slightly. Then, as if she was changing the topic, she said, Luoli misses you so much that she wants to come out and find you every day. Loli Jiang. Sai, the minimum sentence is 3 years, and the maximum sentence is death. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. Jiang Xingyi looked puzzled. Jun Xiaoyao would occasionally say something that she couldn't understand. After chatting for a while, Jun Xiaoyao and Jiang Xingyi said goodbye. When Jiang Xingyi returned to the crowd of the Jiang family, an elder of the Jiang family stepped forward and said, Xingyi, our Jiang family must deepen our relationship with the Son of God. Can you let Luo Li and the Son of God? The Jiang family's elder gestured, obviously trying to matchmake the two of them. The Jiang family would definitely agree to this. Jiang Xingyi's expression froze slightly. After a while, she forced a smile and said, Sure. Let's see if there's a chance for me to be a matchmaker. Ha, that's good. The elder of the Jiang family laughed. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao had also returned to the Jun family's team. Right now, he had no interest in marriage or Dao companions. After all, his goal was to suppress this era and stand at the peak of the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Grandpa, let's go back, Jun Xiaoyao said. He couldn't wait to see what kind of opportunity was in the wooden box. Okay. Jun Zhantian nodded slightly. The Jun family's group also set off to return to the Emperor's state. Xian's state, one of the 3,000 mystical states. This state was the base of the Ji family of the ancients. As a clan of the ancients, the Ji family was not one of the 3 clans of the imperial family, but their strength was not to be underestimated. How weak could a clan of the ancients be? Ji Bangyin returned to the Ji family with Ji Xian, who looked dispirited and listless like a walking corpse. Suddenly, a huge wave was stirred up in the Ji family. The elders of Ji Xian's branch were all filled with righteous indignation. They couldn't wait to destroy the Jun family's gate. Although the other branches were also angry, they were able to keep calm. But in the end, the Ji family didn't do anything. This was because the Ji family couldn't start a war with the Jun family over a crippled Ji Xian. If 2 clans of the ancients went to war, it would be an immortal war. The entire mystic realm would be shaken. Most importantly, Ji Xian was defeated by Jun Xiaoyao fair and square. He wasn't defeated because he was framed. It was normal for the younger generation to fight to the death. The Ji family couldn't find a good reason to deal with the Jun family. Therefore, he could only grit his teeth and swallow this matter. But Ji Bangin couldn't stand it. He made up his mind and went to the depths of the Ji family. He went outside a valley full of celestial aura. The entire valley seemed to be shrouded in celestial aura. It was like spring all year round. Ji Bangin asked, "Is Miss Ching Yi here?" It was hard to imagine that a saint would speak to a junior in such a peaceful tone. One could imagine how extraordinary this junior's status was. Soon, a charming voice was heard. It sounded like a warbler flying out of the valley. "Ching Yi is here. What is it, elder?" The person was not seen, but the voice was heard. But the voice alone was enough to make one think about it. "Miss Ching Yi, please clear the name of the Ji family and get back Ji Xin's dignity," Ji Bangin said in a low voice. The person he was asking for help from was the most outstanding genius of the Ji clan, Ji Ching Yi. She was also the saintess of the Ren celestial sect, an imperishable sect. The saintess of the Ji family and the saintess of the Ren celestial sect made Ji Ching Yi's status very extraordinary. Ji Bangin then told Ji Ching Yi about the secret treasure of Yuan Tian. After a long while, Ji Ching Yi's voice, which was like a clear waterfall, rang out. "I understand, but I will go back to the Ren celestial sect to pay my respects to the immortal remnant carvings. I will keep this matter in mind." Okay. Miss Ching Yi's matter is the most important." Ji Bangin nodded and left. "The son of God of the Jun family, huh? He seems to be an interesting person. I wonder how many surprises he can bring to Ching Yi." After a few days, Jun Xiaoyao and the others also returned to the Jun family in the Emperor's state. During this time, a small incident happened. The big shot of the Nine-Headed Lion clan, the Grand Saint of Nine Spirits, arrived at the Jun family's mountain gate. Jun Xiaoyao appeared on the back of the Nine-Headed Lion. He wanted to see if the big shot of the Nine-Headed Lion clan would be as stupid as the Nether Dragon Sovereign. Some of the cultivators outside were even more shocked when they saw Jun Xiaoyao appear on the back of the Nine-Headed Lion. Riding the descendant of the Grand Saint of Nine Spirits in front of him was a blatant provocation. Just when the outside world thought that the Grand Saint of Nine Spirits would cause a ruckus in the Jun family, the Grand Saint of Nine Spirits said to the Nine-Headed Lion with a serious expression, "Goshen, it's your luck to be chosen by the Son of God of the Jun family. You won't be at a disadvantage if you follow him." Everyone was petrified when they heard this. Is this still the overbearing Grand Saint of Nine Spirits? Many cultivators were dumbfounded. Why did the Grand Saint of Nine Spirits act like a coward when facing the Jun family? Grandpa, the Nine-Headed Lion was also stunned. Its body stiffened, and its fur stood on end. Even its tail was taut. It thought that the Grand Saint of Nine Spirits had come to save it, but this was what he said, and it even exposed its shameful name. "So, your real name is Goshen." Jun Xiaoyao had a playful look on his face. "Haha, son of God, you must be joking. It's difficult for the Nine-Headed Lion clan to reproduce and survive. It's better to give birth to a lowly name," the Grand Saint of Nine Spirits said cheerfully. The Nine-Headed Lion wanted to cry, but had no tears. At this moment, it wanted to dig into the ground and bury itself like an ostrich. It was too shameful. What kind of autistic challenge was this? This episode gave many people a clearer understanding of the Jun family's deterrence. Even the powerful Grand Saint of Nine Spirits didn't dare to behave atrociously in front of the Jun family's mountain gate. He even took the initiative to ask his descendant to follow the Jun family Son of God. After this incident, Jun Xiaoyao returned to the Heavenly Emperor Palace with peace of mind. It's time to explore the mystery of this wooden box. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with anticipation. The entire book. Chapter 79. The great opportunity that Ji Xian had been longing for had been taken away by Jun Xiaoyao in the end. If there was nothing good in the box, it would be a waste of Ji Xian's efforts. Jun Xiaoyao opened the box. Looking around, the first thing that came into view was a simple and unadorned dark golden scroll that seemed to be made of gold foil. "What is this?" Jun Xiaoyao was slightly puzzled. He opened the dark golden scroll. In an instant, countless ancient characters appeared in front of Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. Every ancient character was emitting a boundless divine glow, as if the stars in the sky were revolving. If it was an ordinary person, their eyes would be blinded just by looking at it. However, Jun Xiaoyao was different. He had the sacred body of the ancients. His eyes emitted golden light as he glanced at it. Jun Xiaoyao was shocked by what he saw. It was easy to imagine how surprised Jun Xiaoyao was to make someone as calm and collected as him reveal such an expression. Could this be the 9 great heavenly books? Jun Xiaoyao was slightly stunned. He could not believe it. In the immortal realm, there was probably no cultivator who did not know about the 9 great heavenly books. The 9 great heavenly books were not written by humans, nor were they passed down by any lineage. The 9 great heavenly books had existed since the 9 heavens immortal realm existed. Some people said that the 9 great heavenly books were written by immortals. Some people said that the 9 great heavenly books were the manifestation of the heavenly Tao's rules. In short, there were all kinds of theories. However, one thing was certain. The 9 great heavenly books were not created by anyone. Even great emperors would find it difficult to create them. The most precious thing about the 9 great heavenly books was that each book represented an extreme. For example, the space book, one of the 9 great heavenly books, was the extreme of the Tao of space. The time book was the extreme of the Tao of time. The other books each represented a different Tao of extremity. There were even rumors that if someone could collect the 9 great heavenly books, they could combine them and walk the path of becoming an immortal. It was because of the various rumors about the 9 great heavenly books that countless people were frantically searching for their whereabouts. However, throughout the countless epochs since ancient times, not to mention collecting all 9 great heavenly tomes, even having 1 or 2 of them was a luxury. Jun Xiaoyao did not expect that there would be a heavenly book hidden in the wooden box. Judging from the content, it should be one of the 9 great heavenly books, the physique book, which is the pinnacle of the physical body. Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. Perhaps no one would be able to remain calm after seeing the heavenly book. What was even more coincidental was that the book was one of the 9 great heavenly tomes, which was compatible with Jun Xiaoyao's sacred body of the ancients. First, it was the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth, and now it's the body scroll. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. However, what made Jun Xiaoyao frown slightly was that this volume of the body book seemed to be incomplete. It seemed like there was only the first part of the book. By the way, the remnant soul of Supreme Yuan said that the thing was in the wooden box. The rest might be in the lower world. Does this mean that the second half of the body book is in the 10 lands? Jun Xiaoyao muttered. This was very likely. It seems that I have to go to the lower world in the future. The body book is too important to me, Jun Xiaoyao said. He had the sacred body of the ancients, the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth, and the body scroll, one of the 9 great heavenly tomes. How strong would his physical body be after he had mastered all of them? Perhaps even the great emperors of the primordial age who had attained the way of the physical body would be no match for him. Aside from the body scroll, there was also a broken bronze fragment in the wooden box. Compared to the body scroll, this bronze fragment was very inconspicuous. It did not look like some kind of divine metal. It was very simple. Jun Xiaoyao held in his hand, but he was surprised to find that he could not crush this bronze fragment. Jun Xiaoyao's current physical strength was immensely powerful. Even if he was unable to crush divine metal, he would at least be able to break common noble weapons. However, this seemingly inconspicuous bronze fragment was very sturdy. It's a bit strange. I'll show it to Grandpa and the others later. Jun Xiaoyao put away the bronze fragment. Then he took out the Saint King's hand bone and the 5 dragon skeletons. Jun Xiaoyao had already peeled off the Saint King's hand bone. The entire hand bone was as white as jade and was branded with complex Tao patterns. Even if it was just placed there, it still exuded the might of a saint. The Saint King's hand bone was a big reason why Ji Xian could stand out among the geniuses. A single hand bone was enough to create a powerful heaven's chosen. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not plan to merge the hand bone into his arm. Just thinking about merging other people's bones into his body was terrifying. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao's sacred body of the ancients was already one of the strongest constitutions. When fully grown, it would be many times stronger than the Saint King's hand bone. There was no need to neglect the essentials. Although I won't merge it into my arm, I can use it to forge a ritual implement, Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. He planned to forge the Saint King's hand bone into a weapon. As for the 5 dragon skeletons, Jun Xiaoyao planned to reward 4 of the ancient dragon skeletons to Jun Zhangjian and the others. After all, they had also contributed a lot in the secret treasure of Yuantian. He still had to give them the benefits that they deserved. As for the supreme ancestral dragon bone, Jun Xiaoyao would naturally refine it himself. Then, Jun Xiaoyao directly took out the hellfire furnace and sucked the supreme ancestral dragon bone into it. In an instant, rolling spiritual energy surged. The power contained in the supreme ancestral dragon bone was extremely powerful. If Xiao Chun obtained it, he would directly undergo a great transformation. But now, it all benefited Jun Xiaoyao. There was a crackling sound in his body. It was the awakening of the granules of the giant elephant. 80,000, 90,000. In the end, all 100,000 granules of the giant elephant in Jun Xiaoyao's body were completely awakened. Jun Xiaoyao's body soared with golden light. Behind him, an incomparably solid golden divine elephant appeared. The elephant's trunk curled, and it roared into the sky. It had the power to suppress the world and bring down the stars with its roar. At this moment, the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant had entered the first stage of lesser mastery. Jun Xiaoyao's every move had 1 billion pounds of divine power. It was as if he could shatter stars and collapse ancient mountains with a punch. As expected of the supreme ancestral dragon bone, this energy is too powerful. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. After the transformation of the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant, the next step was to transform the granules of the giant elephant into the granules of the dragon elephant. The granules of the dragon elephant were 10 times stronger than the granules of the giant elephant. In other words, if Jun Xiaoyao transformed all the granules of the giant elephant into the granules of the dragon elephant, his divine power would skyrocket by 10 times. That was 10 billion pounds of divine power. Just thinking about it was terrifying. In addition, the benefits of the supreme ancestral dragon bone were not limited to that. Because the ancestral dragon bone contained the ancestral dragon blood marrow. This energy combined with the dragon aura in Jun Xiaoyao's body, causing his dragon scale inner armor to transform again. Jun Xiaoyao slightly activated it, and a slender azure golden dragon armor that fit his body formed. This dragon armor was more than 10 times stronger than the dragon scale inner armor. With the dragon armor on, Jun Xiaoyao lost some of his immortal-like aura and gained some of the coldness and domineering aura of a god of war. At this moment, he was more like the true dragon of Zulong than Long Hao Ian and the others. Let's call this dragon armor the Azure Sky Ancestral Dragon Armor. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Originally, this Azure Sky Ancestral Dragon Armor should be something that Xiao Chan could form. However, Jun Xiaoyao had snatched the dragon aura and the supreme ancestral dragon bone, so it helped Jun Xiaoyao instead. Full edition. Chapter 80. The strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant and the Azure Sky Ancestral Dragon Armor were also formed. The remaining power of the supreme ancestral dragon bone was used by Jun Xiaoyao to break through to the next level. His realm had also naturally broken through to the consolidation realm. He broke through 3 levels in a row and reached the late stage of the consolidation realm. There was no such thing as a bottleneck. After a period of cultivation, Jun Xiaoyao's strength had greatly increased compared to before. Next, it's time to study the physique book, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. Among the opportunities he obtained this time, the most important was the first volume of the physique book. Of course, as one of the 9 great heavenly books, the physique book was obviously not that easy to cultivate. Even if Jun Xiaoyao was a genius, cultivating the physique book was not something that could be done overnight. I see. There is such a method. After a month, Jun Xiaoyao studied the physique book and gained some insights. In the physique book, there was a method to temper the body. It was to temper the 206 bones in the human body into immortal bones of the great all-embracing heaven. From there, the immortal body of the great all-embracing heaven would evolve. This immortal body was extremely terrifying. It could make Jun Xiaoyao's body indestructible and almost invincible. Even the famous 6 feet golden body of the Little Western Paradise was weak compared to the immortal body of the great all-embracing heaven. Of course, it was not that easy to temper the bones into immortal bones of the great all-embracing heaven. At the very least, one would need immortal sources or energy materials of the same level to temper it. Even Jun Xiaoyao was only using supreme-grade immortal sources for cultivation. Immortal sources were too rare. Even the Jun family did not have many in stock. I can only take one step at a time. In the future, I will have to pay attention to resources like immortal sources, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. Then, he asked Jun Linglong to ask Jun Zhantian if he could use some immortal sources for cultivation. Before long, Jun Linglong returned with more than 100 pieces of immortal sources. Each piece was the size of a fist. They were rare treasures in the outside world. These 100 pieces of immortal sources were a large part of the Jun family's stock. Now all of it was given to Jun Xiaoyao. With these immortal sources, Jun Xiaoyao calmed down and began to refine his origin immortal bone and eternal immortal body. He went into seclusion again. While Jun Xiaoyao was in seclusion, the entire celestial realm was not peaceful. All kinds of news began to spread. For example, there was news in Zulong. The old man in the clan performed a divination. It was as if he could see a corner of the future and made a prophecy. With the birth of the twin dragons, the ancestral dragon shall reign supreme. As soon as the prophecy was made, the entire Huangtian mystic realm was slightly shocked. Did this mean that Zulong was about to rise? Many people speculated that one of the 2 dragons should represent Long Outyin. After all, Long Outyin was Zulong's most outstanding forbidden first generation. As for the other dragon, who was it referring to? There were also people who thought that Zulong was targeting the Jun family. After all, Zulong suffered a great loss in the secret treasure of Yuan Tian and Lost Face. Now that the lair of Zulong was here, they naturally wanted to get back at him. There were also many people from Zulong who were clamoring about why the son of God of the Jun family didn't show up. Some people thought that Jun Xiaoyao might be avoiding the brunt of the attack. However, more people thought that Jun Xiaoyao was hiding his strength and biding his time. When he appeared again, he would definitely shock the entire celestial realm. In addition to the lair of Zulong, another famous, far ancient royal family, the Thousand Phoenix Spirit Mountain, also had young heavenly prides who had begun to enter the world. This Archean royalty was not inferior to Zulong's at all, and their relationship with Zulong was very good. It was a bit similar to the relationship between the Jun family and the Jiang family. Moreover, there was a rumor that Zulong and the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain seemed to want to combine their bloodlines to create an invincible young supreme with the bloodlines of the ancestor dragon and the true phoenix. Of course, this was just a rumor, and not many people believed it. After all, the ancestor dragon and the true phoenix were the most powerful bloodlines, and were extremely domineering. Combining them was as difficult as ascending to the sky. In addition, there was also news from the Panwu Jin dynasty. The eldest princess of the Panwu Jin dynasty, Wu Mingyue, will be choosing her husband soon. When the time came, the entire Jin dynasty would hold a grand banquet and invite all forces and young geniuses in the Huangtian mystic realm to attend. And the candidate for the husband would be chosen at the banquet. This was big news, and it caused quite a stir in the entire celestial realm. After all, if one could become the husband of the eldest princess of the immortal Jin dynasty, it would be like reaching the sky in a single step, and it would save many years of struggle. Of course, many people were well aware of this. The young geniuses who were qualified to participate in the selection of the husband were either monstrously talented or had strong backgrounds. The story of a commoner turning the tables and marrying the princess could only appear in the stories of storytellers. Many geniuses from major forces were also eager to try, and they were preparing to attend the banquet in the Jin dynasty in the future, just as the celestial realm was in turmoil. The azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise ancient kingdoms were also in turmoil. Although these four ancient kingdoms were not immortal orthodoxies, they were still the overlords of their own states. At this moment, in a hall in the royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird in the Fire State, a beautiful woman dressed in a red feather dress was sitting cross-legged in cultivation. Her figure was slim, and even when she was sitting, her beautiful curves were still on display. She had long red hair and skin as white as snow. There was a cinnabar between her eyebrows, which made her look even more beautiful and charming. This woman was Bayur. The divine fire of the vermilion bird and the azure dragon flowed around Bayur, and her aura was far more powerful than before. She had reached the early stage of the consolidation realm. One should know that those who could reach this realm at this age were mostly geniuses from immortal orthodoxies. Bayu would not have been able to achieve this kind of cultivation speed. It was Jun Xiaoyao's random charity that helped her achieve her goal. After cultivating for a while, Bayur slowly opened her eyes. Her bright crimson eyes were as clear as rubies, and they were filled with sadness and longing. "It's been a long time since I last saw Lord Son of God," Bayur murmured with a hint of sadness in her voice. It was hard to imagine that Bayur, who was regarded as a goddess by the entire ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, was currently pining for another untouchable existence. Recently, she had heard a lot about Jun Xiaoyao. He tore apart the sky-devouring sparrow with his bare hands, subdued the nine-headed lion with ease, swept through the supreme treasure, and even suppressed the supreme demonic corpse in the end. All these news made Bayur extremely excited, and she was overwhelmed with emotions. It was as if Jun Xiaoyao's handsome and heroic figure had already appeared in front of her. Bayu even spent the entire day drawing Jun Xiaoyao's figure with her paintbrush. "Although Lord Son of God may not care about me, I only have Lord Son of God in my heart." Bayur took out a scroll of Jun Xiaoyao's portrait and stroked it gently with her delicate hands as she murmured to herself. She had been branded with Jun Xiaoyao's brand from the inside out. Just as Bayur was thinking about Jun Xiaoyao in her heart, a maid's voice came from outside the door. "Your Highness, there's an urgent matter for you. Come in." Bayur collected her thoughts and put away the scroll. She said seriously. A maid walked in and bowed. "Your Highness, a general has sent a message saying that the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon has declared war on the ancient kingdom of White Tiger and Black Tortoise." The complete book. Chapter 81. What? How could this be? Bayur's eyes were filled with surprise when she heard that. This news was truly beyond her expectations. The ancient kingdom of Dragon was indeed very powerful and the leader of the four ancient kingdoms. However, the White Tiger Ancient Kingdom and the Black Tortoise Ancient Kingdom were not weak either. They were not much weaker than the Ancient Kingdom of Dragon. The Ancient Kingdom of Phoenix was the only country whose power had been declining for years due to the king's severe injuries. However, other than the Ancient Kingdom of Phoenix, the other three ancient kingdoms were more or less at the same level. That was why Bayur was surprised. How could the Ancient Kingdom of Dragon be so bold as to attack the other two kingdoms? "What's the situation like now?" Bayur asked. "Your Highness, I heard that the Ancient Kingdom of Dragon was the one who started the war. Their army is very powerful, and it seems that many mysterious fighters of unknown origin have joined in." "Is that so?" Bayur was deep in thought. The King of Phoenix was still in seclusion at the moment. After he got the immortal Qilin elixir and recovered from his injuries, the first thing he needed to do was to go into seclusion to break through to the Saint Realm. However, it was not that easy to break through to the Saint Realm. Although the King of Phoenix had been accumulating for a long time and had the help of the immortal Qilin elixir, it was still not something that could be done in a short time. The King of Phoenix had not come out of seclusion until now. The national affairs of the entire ancient kingdom of Phoenix were on Bayur's shoulders. After all, she was the one who saved the King of Phoenix. Therefore, Bayur was the most influential person in the entire ancient kingdom aside from the king. Let's wait and see. It's not appropriate for the ancient kingdom of Phoenix to get involved. Bayur waved her hand and said, with the current power of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, they were not capable of getting involved. Yes, your highness, the maid answered and left. Bayur frowned slightly. Why is this happening? And where did those mysterious fighters who helped the ancient kingdom of Dragon come from? Bayur pondered. If she was still Xiao Chen's fiancée, she would not have to worry about such things. However, not only did Bayur cut off all ties with Xiao Chun, but they had also turned against each other. Under such circumstances, Bayur could not help but worry that the ancient kingdom of Dragon would attack the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. I hope I'm just overthinking things. Bayur massaged her temples with her slender fingers. But for some reason, there was a faint sense of uneasiness in her heart. Time passed slowly. Jun Xiaoyao was still in seclusion in the Heavenly Emperor Palace of the Jun family. He tried to use the method in the physique book to temper his bones with the immortal origin. It took him half a month to refine the first bone in his body into an origin immortal bone. Jun Xiaoyao believed that he was a little slow, but anyone else might not have been able to refine an origin immortal bone even after several years. Jun Xiaoyao was able to sense it as soon as the first immortal bone of the great Luo appeared. The bone glowed with a golden color, as if it was branded with mystical runes. Moreover, the origin immortal bone was on his arm, and Jun Xiaoyao could sense that his fist was several times stronger than before. Not bad. Although the progress is a little slow, there are finally results, Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. If one origin immortal bone had such a clear effect, then what if he added a few more? In the end, if all 206 bones in his body transformed into origin immortal bones, how powerful would he be? Jun Xiaoyao was looking forward to the immortal body. Just as Jun Xiaoyao continued his seclusion, there was another shocking news from the Four Symbols ancient nation. The ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon had broken through the gates of the White Tiger ancient nation and the Black Tortoise ancient nation. Even if the two ancient nations joined forces to resist, they could not stop the army of the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon. This caused quite a stir in the surrounding dozens of prefectures. However, this was not a battle between immortal forces, so its influence was limited and did not shake the entire immortal realm. Bayu's eyes trembled when she heard the news. The uneasiness in her heart became even more intense. Inside the palace of the White Tiger ancient nation in the Gold State, the Emperor of the White Tiger country and the Emperor of the Black Tortoise country were slightly pale and stood with their hands by their sides. It was obvious that they had just been through a great battle and had suffered serious injuries. They were all at the Saint Realm, but at this moment they were all injured, and their eyes were still filled with shock and fear. The Emperor of the Azure Dragon country stood in front of them calmly. His cultivation was also at the Saint Realm and was not much higher than the two emperors. However, there were four figures shrouded in long black robes behind him. It was because of these four people and the Emperor of the Azure Dragon country that they had suffered heavy losses and led to the defeat of the two ancient nations' armies. Emperor of the Azure Dragon country, where did you find these helpers? The Emperor of the White Tiger country asked with a hint of indignation. If not for these four figures, he alone would be able to fight the Emperor of the Azure Dragon country. Haha, why are you asking so much? All you need to know is that I am also working for the young master. The Emperor of the Azure Dragon country smiled faintly. What? The two emperors were shocked when they heard this. The Emperor of a country was actually working for someone else, and from the way he addressed him, it seemed like he was a young master. The two emperors exchanged a look and saw the shock in each other's eyes. There is no need to be suspicious. These four people are also working for that young master, the Emperor of the Azure Dragon country said calmly. This time, the Emperor of the White Tiger country and the Emperor of the Black Tortoise country were even more shocked. These four saint-level powerhouses were actually working for that young master? Who exactly was that young master? Just how terrifying was his background? Now, I only need you to agree to two conditions. First, hand over a quarter of each of your compasses. Second, submit to the young master. If you agree to these two conditions, you may live. If you don't, die. The Emperor of the Azure Dragon country's tone was cold as he said bluntly. The two emperors were even more humiliated when they heard this. The compasses were passed down from generation to generation. Although they didn't know what they were used for, they were the symbol of the ancient nations. The four ancient nations each had a quarter of the compasses, and submitting to that young master wasn't something to be proud of either. Just as the two monarchs were about to argue, the four pitch-black figures suddenly took a step forward. That oppressive aura caused the two emperors' words to be stuck in their throats, unable to speak. After a long while, the two emperors nodded dejectedly and agreed to the conditions. Seeing this, the Emperor of the Azure Dragon country nodded in satisfaction. Afterward, after a series of arrangements, the two ancient nations also submitted to him. As for the Emperor of the Azure Dragon country, he went to the back of the palace and into a luxurious hall. Inside the hall, there were many enchanting dancers dancing gracefully and gracefully. Directly above, there was a large bed with a gauze curtain hanging down. One could vaguely make out a figure leaning on several beautiful figures. The Emperor of the Azure Dragon country opened his palm, revealing two simple modeled components of the Azure Dragon compasses. "Young master, I've obtained what you wanted." The Emperor of the Azure Dragon country's tone was somewhat respectful. From the veil, a powerful arm stretched out and grabbed the two pieces of the Azure Dragon compass with its 5 fingers. "Very good, Emperor of the Azure Dragon country. You didn't disappoint me. The entire book." Chapter 82. Of course. How could I not do my best when working for you, sir? The Emperor of Azure Dragon country chuckled. "Indeed. With this, including the corner of the compass you gave me, we now have 3 pieces. Next, only the last piece of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix is left." The voice was heard from the veil. "The ancient kingdom of Phoenix, huh? This." The Emperor of Azure Dragon country's expression changed slightly. "What is it? Is there a problem?" The voice deepened slightly, seeming to be rather moody. The Emperor of Azure Dragon country's forehead was sweating slightly as he hurriedly replied, "You misunderstand, sir. If it was before, the ancient kingdom of Phoenix and the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon were indeed related. But now, not only are we not related, but we even have a grudge against each other." Xiao Qin's engagement with Bai Yuer was annulled, and he was chased out of the Jun family in an extremely embarrassing manner. Even his dragon aura was taken away. There was no way the Emperor of Azure Dragon country would be fond of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix and Bai Yuer. It could even be said that they had become enemies. "Oh, then what is the reason?" the voice asked. The Emperor of Azure Dragon country replied, "That princess of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix might be somewhat related to the son of God of the Jun family." "The son of God of the Jun family?" That voice also carried a faint trace of hesitation and doubt. Currently, in the Huangtian mystic realm, there might not be many who had seen Jun Xiaoyao, but there were definitely many who had heard of Jun Xiaoyao's name. The son of God of the Jun family wouldn't care about a small country like that, would he? The voice said plainly. "I'm just reminding you, sir," the Emperor of Azure Dragon country said. Back when Jun Linglong had taken over the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, the ancient kingdom of Phoenix did not announce it to the outside world. After all, it was not something to be proud of. As such, at the moment, other than the Emperor of Phoenix, Bai Yuer, and the officials who witnessed it with their own eyes, no one else knew. Everyone else had no idea that the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was now Jun Xiaoyao's force. What's the point of reminding me? Let's not talk about whether or not the ancient kingdom of Phoenix has anything to do with Jun Xiaoyao. Even if they do you think I'm afraid?" The voice said with a tone of annoyance. That's right. Young master is a big shot, destined to stand at the pinnacle of the immortal realms in the future and look down on all living things." The Azure Dragon King flattered. "Well, it's good that you know. Next up, gather the armies of the 3 nations and attack the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. Force them to submit and hand over the fragment of the Azure Dragon compass." "Understood." The Azure Dragon King cupped his hands. "By the way, I've heard that the Vermilion Bird Princess Bai Yuer is a rare beauty. Don't hurt her when the time comes. Bring her here and make her my concubine." "Yes." The Emperor of Azure Dragon Country nodded. At the same time, he felt a sense of relief. Fortunately, Baiyu had severed ties with Xiao Chun. Otherwise, wouldn't she have made her own son a cuckold? "Don't worry. Once we're done, you'll get plenty of benefits. When the time comes, the 4 great ancient countries will merge into the 4 symbols ancient country, and you'll be the sole ruler." The voice chuckled. "Many thanks, young master." The Azure Dragon King's eyes revealed a hint of joy. Wasn't this what he wanted? After that, the Azure Dragon King took his leave. That voice muttered to itself, "When we gather all 4 pieces and form the complete bronze compass, we might be able to find traces of that bronze immortal palace. If we succeed, I'll get a great opportunity. When the time comes, I'll definitely be able to marry Wu Mingwei. After that, I'll enter the Panwu Hill and obtain the opportunity. Then, I'll gradually gain control of the Panwu Jin dynasty. Finally, Yang Pan, will be able to stand above the 9 heavens and 10 lands and stand at the top of all living beings." That voice was filled with boundless ambition. His laughter reverberated throughout the entire palace. In just a few days, the Azure Dragon King had gathered the armies of the 3 nations and marched towards the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. Furthermore, they did not bother to hide at all. They marched towards the Fire Province openly. The news quickly spread to the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. In an instant, the entire nation was in a state of panic. When they heard that the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon had annexed the ancient kingdom of White Tiger and the ancient kingdom of Black Tortoise, many officials of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird were already feeling uneasy. Now that the news was confirmed, the entire ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird was in an uproar. With the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird's current state of power, even the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon alone was enough to pose a threat to the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, let alone the allied armies of the 3 nations. The allied armies of the 3 nations had practically given the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird a death sentence. In the royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, a group of officials went to Baiyu. "Your Highness, please send a message to the Son of God of the June family. See if he can help us." "That's right. Our king is still in closed-door training. Only the June family can save our ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird." Many officials who were in the know urged Baiyu to ask Jun Xiaoyao for help. "Very well. Calm down, officials. I'll give it a try," Baiyu said. Naturally, she was in a hurry as well. She took out her communication jade scroll and sent a message to Jun Linglong. That was because she did not have a way to contact Jun Xiaoyao directly. On the Jun family side, Jun Linglong received the message as well. However, Jun Xiaoyao was still in closed-door training at the moment. Jun Linglong could not possibly disturb him because of something like that. Baiyu's heart sank slightly when she received the message. Jun Xiaoyao was in closed-door training, so there was no way to contact him. Jun Linglong's status was far below Jun Xiaoyao's. It was impossible for her to mobilize the power of the Jun family to help the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. Only Jun Xiaoyao would be able to help the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird if he showed up in person. However, the problem was that he was in closed-door training and no one could disturb him. Baiyu relayed the news to the officials. How could this be? Are the heavens trying to destroy our ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird? Some of the officials looked pale. That's not necessarily the case. The ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon probably just wants us to submit to them. We'll see how they react when the time comes, Baiyu said. The ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird then went into a state of preparation. The forces of the outside world were not optimistic about the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. They even thought that the battle was a hopeless one. There was no suspense about the outcome at all. It was just a matter of time. Of course, they had such conjectures because they did not know that the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird had become Jun Xiaoyao's private force. If they had known that, they would not have had such thoughts. In just a few days, the allied forces of the 3 nations had already entered the Fire State. Their target was the imperial city of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. Along the way, all the cities were destroyed without being able to put up any resistance. Most of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird's forces were also concentrated in the imperial city. Regardless of the final outcome, the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird would not just sit around and wait for their doom. Just when the final battle of the four ancient nations was about to break out, inside the heavenly emperor palace of the June family, there was a powerful aura permeating the place, and there was a vast light rising. A mist of celestial light permeated the place, making people feel as if a supreme deity was sitting inside the heavenly emperor palace. Jun Linglong, Jun Xuehuang, Jun Zhangjian, and Jun Wanjie were all outside the heavenly emperor palace. Their eyes were also filled with surprise and joy. The Son of God is finally coming out of his closed-door training. The entire book. Chapter 83. Jun Xiaoyao rarely went into seclusion. But as soon as he came out of seclusion, his entire person would change dramatically. Jun Linglong and the others stood respectfully outside the heavenly emperor palace. Not long after, Jun Xiaoyao pushed open the door and came out. His clothes were whiter than snow, and his temperament was otherworldly. His face was still as handsome as ever, and he could make any woman's heart flutter. But unlike before, Jun Xiaoyao's temperament was even more sublime. Jun Xiaoyao gave off the feeling that he was some sort of deity that had been banished from the world. This feeling was even more intense now. Why do I feel like Son of God is an immortal who wants to ride the wind and fly away? Jun Xuehuang murmured. Of course, they didn't know. This was because Jun Xiaoyao had cultivated the immortal Daluo immortal body. Jun Xiaoyao also didn't tell Jun Linglong and the others about the physique book. The fewer people who knew about this, the better. And Jun Xiaoyao's temperament wasn't the only thing that had improved. The power that was faintly revealed made Jun Wanjie feel extremely dangerous. As the Sequence 5, he was stronger than Jun Zhangjian, Jun Xuehuang, and Jun Linglong. But even he felt a chill in the face of Jun Xiaoyao. Young Master is even more unfathomable than before. I might not even be able to withstand one of his moves now, Jun Wanjie thought to himself. I've been in seclusion for almost a year, and I've only refined 6 immortal bones. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and sighed inwardly. He didn't expect that only 6 immortal bones of the immortal realm could be refined from hundreds of extremely rare immortal sources. This kind of consumption was simply too terrifying. If an ordinary person were to cultivate the immortal Daluo immortal body, it would probably take countless years just to find the resources, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. If one were to observe his right arm at this moment, one would discover that his right arm was faintly surrounded by divine light and immortal intent. The 6 origin immortal bones that Jun Xiaoyao had refined were all on his right arm. This way, he could focus his energy and bring out part of the origin immortal bones effects. Congratulations, Son of God. Jun Linglong and the other 3 bowed and cupped their hands towards Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand slightly. Then, he took out 4 sets of ancient dragon bones. Young Master, this. Jun Zhangjian and the others were puzzled. These 4 sets of ancient dragon bones, one for each of you, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Young Master, this is too precious. Jun Xuehuang said, feeling flattered. Ancient dragon bones were rare treasures in the outside world. They would not complain if Jun Xiaoyao monopolized them. After all, Jun Xiaoyao had contributed the most. We're all family. Just take it. There's no need to refuse, Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. Yes, thank you, Son of God. Jun Zhangjian and the others hesitated for a moment before nodding. There was a hint of gratitude in their expressions. The dragon bones would be of great use to them as well. Jun Xiaoyao's actions had strengthened their conviction to follow him. By the way, young master, Linglong has something to tell you. Jun Linglong seemed to have thought of something and stepped forward. Speak, Jun Xiaoyao said. Then, Jun Linglong briefly told Jun Xiaoyao about the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. I see. I understand now. Jun Xiaoyao nodded faintly. At that moment, the mechanical voice of the system was heard in his head again. Ding! Congratulations to the host. New check-in location has been refreshed. Please check in at the royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. Is the system going to give me something for free again? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes narrowed, and his expression remained calm. He had planned to go to the ancient kingdom of Phoenix himself. The system sure was considerate. Then, young master, what should we do? Jun Linglong asked. The reason why she was concerned was not because of Bai Yu, but because the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was Jun Xiaoyao's private force. Wouldn't it be detrimental to Jun Xiaoyao's interests if they were to harm the ancient kingdom of Phoenix? Relay my orders. Gather 10,000 men from the four forces of the Jun family: wind, forest, fire, and mountain. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was calm as he handed a golden token to Jun Linglong. That was the Son of God token, which was also the symbol of Jun Xiaoyao's identity as the Son of God. He's mobilizing the four forces of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain. Jun Zhangjian and the others were shocked. The four forces of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain were extremely powerful forces of the Jun family. They were the Wind Shadow Guards, the Imperial Forest Guards, the Fire Cavalry Guards, and the Mountain Guards. The four forces of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain were not the only military forces of the Jun family, but they were quite famous among them. They helped the Jun family suppress all resistance forces and protect the territories of the Jun family. Everywhere they passed, they were like a flood of steel that no one could stop. The weakest of the four forces was at the Nirvana realm. There were many in the reaching heaven realm and the divine fire realm. Furthermore, the four forces were not something that ordinary geniuses of the Jun family could mobilize. Even the 10 sequences had to go through some procedures if they wanted to mobilize them. Furthermore, they could not mobilize too many of them. Only Jun Xiaoyao was qualified to mobilize the four forces of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain at will. There was no limit to the number or the conditions. As long as he took out the Son of God token, he could mobilize them. Son of God, let's go too. Just treat it as a training exercise, Jun Zhangjian said. Jun Xiaoyao pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, all right, you guys go and get ready. Yes. Jun Zhangjian and the others cupped their hands and went to make preparations. Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands behind his back and murmured to himself, the four symbols ancient nations is a force that I'm planning to recruit. Who is the one who dares to take advantage of me? Jun Xiaoyao did not think that the ancient kingdom of Dragon alone could conquer the other ancient nations. When Jun Linglong told him the news, she also said that there seemed to be a mysterious force that was helping the ancient kingdom of Dragon. This was something worth pondering. Jun Xiaoyao was also very curious. Who was the person behind the ancient kingdom of Dragon? Was that person's goal simply to unify the four symbols ancient nations? It seems that the four symbols ancient nations are not as simple as they seem. There might be some unknown history behind them. I'll find out when I ask Bai Yu. Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. Then, he went to look for Jun Zhangjian. The matter of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was not a big deal to him. Even if it was accidentally destroyed, Jun Xiaoyao would only feel that it was a pity. As for Bai Yu, Jun Xiaoyao did not care about her at all. She was just a chess piece in his hands. What Jun Xiaoyao wanted to know now was about the bronze fragment in the wooden box. That was why he went to look for Jun Zhangjian. However, when Jun Zhangjian saw the bronze fragment, his face became very serious. Xiaoyao, where did this fragment come from? Jun Zhangjian asked. It's in the secret treasure of Yuan Tian. It should have been brought by Yuan Tian Supreme from the foreign realm, Jun Xiaoyao said. He had nothing to hide from Jun Zhangjian. So that's how it is. This bronze fragment is too deeply involved, Jun Zhangjian said solemnly. It was the first time that Jun Xiaoyao saw Jun Zhangjian look so serious. Grandpa, what is the origin of this bronze fragment? Jun Xiaoyao could not help but be more curious. Xiaoyao, have you heard of the 7 wonders of the mystic realm? Jun Zhangjian asked in a deep voice. 7 wonders? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. The whole book. Chapter 84. Jun Xiaoyao knew a little about the 7 wonders. In the immortal realm, there were probably only a few people who had not heard of them. The so-called 7 wonders referred to 7 strange legends that were circulating in the immortal realm. For example, The legend of the Starry Sky ghost ship referred to a ghost ship at the end of the starry sky. Everyone who saw the ship, no matter who they were, even if they were saints, would be confused. They would then board the ship and head to the other side of the Yellow Springs. Another example was the legend of the Headless Swordsman. There was a headless figure holding a rusty sword dripping with blood, walking in every corner of the immortal realm. All the cultivators who encountered the Headless Swordsman would encounter misfortune, from ordinary cultivators to supreme cultivators. There was no exception. All kinds of legends formed the Seven Wonders in the end. It could be said that each of the Seven Wonders represented a mystery of the immortal realm and could be called a taboo. Generally speaking, no cultivator was willing to be contaminated by these things, because these things were too incredible, too ominous, and too strange. They could easily kill cultivators. Grandpa, do you mean that this bronze fragment is related to one of the Seven Wonders? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. That's right. Among the Seven Wonders, there is a legend of the Bronze Immortal Palace. This bronze fragment may come from the Bronze Immortal Palace, Jun Zhantian said in a serious tone. Bronze Immortal Palace? Jun Xiaoyao was slightly surprised. The Bronze Immortal Palace was also one of the Seven Wonders. It was an extremely strange and ominous immortal palace. Although it was called an immortal palace, in the eyes of many people, it was undoubtedly a tomb. 80 to 90% of the powerhouses who entered had perished. The reason why this Bronze Immortal Palace was so attractive was because it was rumored that there was something related to immortals in it. Anything related to immortals was enough to make all cultivators scramble for it. Since ancient times, countless young supreme cultivators, mighty lords, and saints had entered the Bronze Immortal Palace to explore the mysteries of immortals and obtain the opportunities of immortals. But without exception, most of them died. Even the few cultivators who escaped kept their mouths shut and did not say anything about the situation in the Immortal Palace, as if they were afraid of something. It was also because of this that the Bronze Immortal Palace was listed as one of the 7 great inconceivable existences. Jun Zhantian said to Jun Xiaoyao in a serious tone, Xiaoyao, you have unparalleled talent. Even if you don't take risks, you can still become a sage ancestor in the future. It's not impossible for you to become a great emperor. Don't put yourself in danger just because of curiosity. Jun Xiaoyao was now the treasure of the Jun family. He was the core existence of the Jun family. Nothing could happen to him. If Jun Xiaoyao wanted to search for the Bronze Immortal Hall because of a bronze fragment, Jun Zhantian would not agree. Oh, Grandpa, you don't have to be so nervous. I was just casually asking. I didn't expect this fragment to have such a history, Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. Just as he finished speaking, a voice rang out. In his mind, the mechanical voice of the system rang out once more. Ding! Congratulations to the host. The new check-in location has been refreshed. Please check in at the Bronze Immortal Palace. Upon hearing this voice, Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. Was the system trying to dig a hole for him? Was the Bronze Immortal Hall a place that just anyone could go to? But then again, Jun Xiaoyao's curiosity was indeed piqued. He sorted out a little and found that there were a total of 3 check-in locations. Panwilin, the royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, and the Bronze Immortal Hall. The royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird was the easiest, and he could check in there very quickly. Panwilin required a little more effort, but it was not difficult. As for the Bronze Immortal Hall, there was not even a shadow of it. No one knew where the Bronze Immortal Hall would appear next. As such, Jun Xiaoyao was not in a hurry at the moment. He had plenty of time to improve himself. Thank you for clearing my doubts, Grandpa. I still have something to do, so I will take my leave, Jun Xiaoyao said. Xiaoyao, remember, don't go exploring the 7 incredible places alone. No matter how bad it is, you have to tell Grandpa, Jun Zhantian reminded him. I know, Jun Xiaoyao nodded. Then, Jun Xiaoyao walked out of the gate of the Jun family. There were 4 closely packed square formations in the sky. Those were the 4 guards of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain guards. Each guard had 10,000 people, making a total of 40,000 people ready to go. The wind shadow guards wore green armor and held scimitars. The Imperial Forest Guards wore golden armor and held long spears. The Fire Cavalry Guards wore crimson armor and rode on flaming horses, holding long spears. The Mountain Guards wore black heavy armor and held huge shields and battle axes. The guards of the four sides all looked dignified and full of fighting spirit. Jun Xiaoyao looked at them and was very satisfied. Young master, the four guards of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain guards, a total of 40,000 people, are ready to go. Jun Linglong presented the Son of God command. Jun Xiaoyao put away the Son of God command and nodded lightly. Very well. I will leave the trip to the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird in your hands. The four guards of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain guards all saluted Jun Xiaoyao and half knelt. The Wind Shadow Guard are willing to go through water and tread on fire for the Jun family and the Son of God. The Imperial Forest Guards are willing to go through water and tread on fire for the Jun family and the Son of God. The Fire Cavalry Guards are willing to go through water and tread on fire for the Jun family and the Son of God. The Mountain Guards are willing to go through water and tread on fire for the Jun family and the Son of God. The Divine Guards on all sides roared in unison, their auras swallowing 10,000 li like tigers. Their shouts shook the 9 heavens and shattered the clouds in the sky. Very well. With all of you here, what can be done? Jun Xiaoyao also felt his blood begin to boil. He laughed heartily. Which man didn't have the ambition to unify an army and conquer the world? Then, Jun Xiaoyao stood on a golden chariot. The 9-headed lion pulled the chariot and soared into the sky. Jun Zhangjian, Jun Xuehuang, Jun Wanjie, and Jun Linglong each led one of the 4 guards of the wind, forest, fire, mountain, and forest. They followed closely behind. The group of people rode across the sky majestically. The major forces and cultivators along the way were all shocked and bewildered. They raised their heads to look at the sky. That's the wind, forest, fire, mountain, and forest of the Jun family. Where are they going? I don't know. The Jun family hasn't mobilized their army for a long time. Are they going to suppress a rebellion? No. The one pulling the chariot is the 9-headed lion of the far ancient royal family. Hiss, the one standing on the golden chariot is the Son of God of the Jun family. Many cultivators gasped and felt their scalps go numb when they saw the celestial figure standing with his hands behind his back. What kind of thing could make the Son of God of the Jun family lead an army? Many cultivators looked at each other and understood the meaning in each other's eyes. The enemies of the Son of God of the Jun family were probably going to be in big trouble. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was leading the wind, forest, fire, mountain, and forest of the wind, forest, mountain, and forest of the fire state, the allied army of the 3 nations, led by the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon, had penetrated deep into the hinterland of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. All the cities along the way were completely defenseless and were destroyed by the armies of the 3 nations. Baiyu also understood that with the current strength of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, it was impossible for them to defend the entire ancient kingdom. The only way was to gather their forces and fight the final battle outside the imperial capital. After about 10 days, the allied army of the 3 ancient nations finally got close to the imperial capital of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. At that moment, outside the imperial capital of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, banners were fluttering in the wind. More than 100,000 soldiers of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix stood guard outside the imperial capital like a steel wall. Baiyu changed her usual temperament. She wore a red soft armor, which outlined her tight curves. Her fiery red hair was tied up, which made her look valiant and heroic. Around her were some generals of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. All of them had serious looks in their eyes and vaguely felt uneasy. In that almost suffocating atmosphere, the earth suddenly shook. Boom, boom, boom. In the distance, a dark and terrifying crowd appeared. At first glance, the black torrent swept across the land. When he saw the vast and boundless army, he was stunned. The faces of all the generals of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix were extremely grim. The hearts of the ministers of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix sank to the bottom. The ancient kingdom of Phoenix is doomed. An old minister said with a sorrowful look in his eyes. Bayou, on the other hand, gripped her sword tightly. Her charming face showed traces of despair. Is there really no other way? Bayou looked into the distance, as if she wanted to see a figure appear. But there was nothing there the entire book. Chapter 85. The mighty steel torrent surged forward like a black tide. At a glance, the entire horizon seemed to have been drowned in silhouettes. The generals of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird did not need to look to know who they were. The combined forces of Azure Dragon, White Tiger, and Black Tortoise were definitely more than 10 times that of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. There were at least 1,000,000 troops. The sheer number of troops alone was enough to completely crush the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, which only had 100,000 troops. In terms of high-level powerhouses, the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird was still completely crushed. The king of Vermilion Bird was still in closed-door training. The 3 kings of the allied forces were all saints. Not to mention, there was also a mysterious force that was helping the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon. If that force were to make a move, the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird would be in grave danger and could collapse at any time. No matter how much Bayou wanted to resist, she could not help but feel despair when she saw the endless army. Rumble. On the distant horizon, an army of about 200,000 troops was marching toward them. It's the army of the ancient kingdom of Black Tortoise. A middle-aged man in fiery red armor from the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird said. He was the general of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, a virtual god powerhouse. The level after the Divine Fire Realm was the virtual god realm. However, on such a battlefield, even a virtual god powerhouse would not be able to turn the tide. After all, the virtual god realm was still a long way from being a sage to be, let alone a saint. What are the ancient kingdom of Black Tortoise trying to do? Bayou's eyes flashed. A general in front of the ancient kingdom of Black Tortoise spoke. Ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, I am the general of the ancient kingdom of Black Tortoise. Let me give you a suggestion. Lay down your weapons and surrender, and you can avoid a futile slaughter. Ancient kingdom of Black Tortoise, why did you submit to the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon? Bayou could not help but ask. That was also her biggest doubt. Even if an ancient kingdom was defeated, it would not have surrendered so easily. The general of the ancient kingdom of Black Tortoise snorted and said, The one we submitted to is the young master. His identity and background is not something that anyone would know. Bayou, the young master personally appointed you. Surrender and become the young master's concubine and surrender, and the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird's safety, the general of the ancient kingdom of Black Tortoise. What? Bayou was to be shocked by the general of the kingdom of Black Tortoise. What shocked her the most was who that young master was to be able to casually suppress the 3 nations. What made her angry was that the young master actually wanted to take her as a concubine. This caused Bayou's charming face to turn icy cold. The general of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, who was at the side, shouted coldly, Insolence! The princess of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird will not become someone's concubine so easily. Everyone from the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was filled with righteous indignation. This is an insult to the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. It's your fortune to be able to become the young master's concubine. If you resist, blood will flow like a river. The general of the Black Tortoise ancient country said coldly, I'm with the son of God of the June family. Aren't you afraid of offending the son of God and being destroyed by the June family in the future? Bayou rebuked coldly. The general's expression changed when he heard this. After all, the reputation of the June family and the son of God of the June family was too great. If the June family wanted to destroy the Black Tortoise ancient kingdom, it would be a piece of cake. Even if the 4 quadrants ancient countries were to join forces, they would still be no match for the June family. However, the general calmed down when he thought of how powerful the young master was. He sneered and said, Princess of the Vermilion Bird, don't try to bluff. Why would the son of God of the June family care about a nobody like you? If he did, he would have come to your aid a long time ago. Besides, Even if you are related to the son of God of the June family, that young master is still not afraid. The words of the general of the Black Tortoise ancient country slightly hurt by Yuer's heart. Indeed, to June Xiaoyao, she was nothing more than a dispensable pawn. Even if she were to fall, June Xiaoyao would probably not care. But just because the Son of God doesn't care about me doesn't mean that I don't care about the Son of God. I promised to serve the Son of God for the rest of my life. How can I become someone's concubine? Bai Yuer's eyes were filled with determination. You want me to become that young master's concubine? Impossible. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Bai Yuer pointed her sword at the sky, showing off her sharpness. Sigh, what a shame. Black Tortoise Army, heed my command. Charge! The general of the Black Tortoise ancient country ordered. The 200,000 soldiers of the Black Tortoise ancient country moved in unison. Generals, heed my command. Protect our ancient country. Charge! Bai Yuer also shouted. Rumble! The armies of the two nations collided like torrents, instantly entangling each other. Broken limbs were sent flying and blood splattered everywhere. Shouts, screams, and sounds of killing intertwined to form a bloody picture. The 200,000 soldiers of the Black Tortoise ancient country were like unstoppable steel beasts. The 100,000 soldiers of the ancient country of Vermilion Bird tried their best to resist, but the front line was pushed back. Over the years, the ancient country of Vermilion Bird had been reduced to the bottom of the four ancient nations. Their military equipment and combat power were not as good as the other three ancient nations. Not to mention, they had a crushing advantage in terms of numbers. Under such circumstances, how could the ancient country of Vermilion Bird win? The general of the Black Tortoise ancient country waved his hand and shouted, Generals, heed my command. Capture the princess of Vermilion Bird Bai Yuer alive. Bai Yuer was handpicked by that young master. There was no way they would let her go. Protect the princess. The general of the ancient country of Vermilion Bird shouted. A group of generals rushed forward and fought with the generals of the Black Tortoise ancient country. One by one, the generals of the ancient country of Vermilion Bird fell. They were still outnumbered by the Black Tortoise ancient country. Everyone, Bai Yuer felt as if a knife was being twisted in her heart. These generals had all died because of her. How troublesome. Can't you guys even capture a woman? At that moment, a cold snort exploded in the void. The might of a saint spread out. On the side of the ancient country of Vermilion Bird, all the generals and soldiers trembled and felt suffocated. A figure in a black imperial robe appeared in the sky. It was the Black Tortoise Emperor. We're done for. When the Black Tortoise Emperor appeared, everyone from the ancient country of Vermilion Bird looked like they were about to die. Even a saint had appeared. How were they going to fight this battle? Bai Yuer's heart was filled with despair. Against a saint, she could not even resist or kill herself. How can someone who is wanted by the young master run away? Get over here. The Black Tortoise Emperor extended his hand and grabbed. A giant hand condensed in a magic power and grabbed at Bai Yuer. At that critical moment, a long howl was heard from the depths of the ancient country of Vermilion Bird. Terrifying flames rose into the air, as if a vermilion bird had been formed. A figure in a red imperial robe broke out of his seclusion, stepping on the flames in the sky. Who dares to invade the ancient country of Vermilion Bird? The one who broke out of his seclusion was none other than the Vermilion Bird Emperor. It's His Majesty. He has broken through to the saint's stage. When they saw the Vermilion Bird Emperor appear, all the generals of the ancient country of Vermilion Bird cried out in joy. Bai Yuer looked extremely surprised, as if she had found a way out of a hopeless situation. The Vermilion Bird Emperor crushed that giant hand of magic power with a single palm. Seeing that, the people of the ancient country of Vermilion Bird were even more convinced that the Vermilion Bird Emperor was a saint. There was finally hope for their ancient country of Vermilion Bird. However, before Bai Yuer and the generals could rejoice on the horizon, the remaining army surged like a black tide. At the same time, two more saint auras erupted. They were the Azure Dragon Emperor and the White Tiger Emperor. At that moment, even the Vermilion Bird Emperor's expression changed. Even if he had broken through to the saint stage, there was nothing he could do against 3 saints. The flame of hope that had just risen in by Ewer's heart was extinguished again. Her eyes were filled with sorrow. What could be crueler than going from despair to hope, and then back to despair? Does the heavens want the ancient country of Vermilion Bird to be destroyed? By Ewer bit her lip until it bled. The full text. Chapter 86. In the distance, the rest of the army gathered. It was a dark mass that made one's scalp tingle. At the same time, 2 figures stepped through the air, both emanating the aura of saints. They were the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country and the Emperor of White Tiger Country, including the Emperor of Black Tortoise. There were 3 saints standing in the air, facing off against the Emperor of Vermilion Bird. The Emperor of Vermilion Bird's expression changed drastically. He had just broken through to the Saint Plain and was in high spirits, but he did not expect to see the 3 nations attacking the city. What surprised him even more was that the 3 ancient nations, which should have been impossible to unite, had joined forces to attack the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. Father, below, Bayur sent a telepathic message, briefly explaining what had happened during this time. I see. The Emperor of Vermilion Bird's eyes trembled slightly. It was obvious that the young master had a very powerful background. Otherwise, there was no way he could have suppressed the 3 ancient nations to such an extent. More importantly, the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird was unable to stop the million-strong army. There was no way he could take on the 3 emperors. Not to mention that the young master's mysterious force was probably monitoring everything behind the scenes, ready to make a move. Under such circumstances, even if the Emperor of Vermilion Bird had broken through to the Saint Plain, there was nothing he could do. Emperor of Vermilion Bird, I didn't expect you to not only recover from your injuries, but also break through to the Saint Plain. The Emperor of Azure Dragon Country sounded surprised. Because the news was sealed, the Emperor of Azure Dragon and the others only knew about it now. I didn't expect the great Emperor of Azure Dragon Country to become someone's dog, the Emperor of Vermilion Bird said with a gloomy expression. A wise man submits to circumstances. Before that young master, you are nothing but a mantis trying to stop a chariot, the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country sneered. Then you should know that the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird has long been subservient to someone, the Emperor of Vermilion Bird said coldly. Oh, who is it? The Emperor of Azure Dragon Country frowned slightly. The son of God of the June family, the Emperor of Vermilion Bird said. As soon as he said that, the allied forces of the 3 ancient nations quieted down. It was as if the words, the son of God of the June family, had a strange power. The Emperor of the Azure Dragon Country narrowed his eyes and said coldly, Are you trying to pull the wool over my eyes again? Why would the son of God of the June family care about a mere ancient kingdom of Phoenix? Suit yourself. But if you don't believe me, you'll regret it, the Vermilion Bird King said coldly. Even if it's true, we still have the young master behind us. Don't use the son of God of the June family to pressure us. The Azure Dragon King's face darkened. Xiaochen had been crippled by Jun Xiaoyao before, so the Azure Dragon King naturally didn't have a good impression of Jun Xiaoyao. There's no need to say anything else. Let's storm the ancient kingdom of Phoenix and capture Bayou alive. The Emperor of the Azure Dragon Kingdom gave the order, and the million-strong army attacked again. It was like a torrent that broke through everything, crushing the army of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. The White Tiger ruler and the Black Tortoise ruler joined forces to suppress the Vermilion Bird ruler. The Azure Dragon King reached out to grab Bayur. Your Highness, be careful. The great general of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix blasted Bayou away before being reduced to a bloody pulp by the giant palm made of magic. General, Bayu's heart was bleeding. Your Highness, run. We'll hold him off. Many generals stood before the Emperor of the Azure Dragon Kingdom. The Emperor of the Azure Dragon Kingdom waved his hand, and one figure after another exploded. The might of a saint was unstoppable. In the sky, the Vermilion Bird King was forced to retreat, coughing up blood at the corner of his mouth. He had just broken through to the saint stage. After all, his level was still unstable, and he was being attacked by 2 saints. It didn't take long for the Vermilion Bird King to be forced to retreat, spitting blood. Below, the 100,000-strong army of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was being slaughtered. The impact of a million-strong army was terrifying. The 100,000-strong army of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was reduced to only 30,000 to 40,000 in just 15 minutes. The army was being crushed. The Vermilion Bird King, who had high-end combat power, was severely injured. Those generals were all killed by the Emperor of the Azure Dragon Kingdom. Is the ancient kingdom of Phoenix really done for? At that moment, Baiyu-Er's heart was filled with despair. Surrender. The Emperor of the Azure Dragon Kingdom looked indifferent and was about to reach out with his hand. Baiyu-Er closed her eyes, and tears fell from the corner of her eyes. At that moment, the world seemed to have gone silent for a moment. All sound seemed to have been lost. In this silence, an incomparably cold and indifferent voice sounded. How dare you touch the people of the Son of God? Are you tired of living, Emperor of the Azure Dragon Kingdom? The cold voice seemed to have come from the netherworld. The entire battlefield fell into a dead silence, as if it had frozen. Those words seemed to be echoing in the ears of the million-strong army. Who was it? Who dared to speak to a saint in such a tone? When Baiyu-Er heard that voice, her petite body trembled. Then, she opened her eyes abruptly and looked into the distance. In the distant sky, a terrifying sound of tremors was heard, and the clouds dispersed. 4 terrifying armies with murderous auras appeared. Banners fluttered in the wind, blades were sharp, war chariots roared, and divine steeds neighed. The murderous aura shot up to the 9 heavens and down to the 9 hells. The terrifying murderous aura emanating from the 4 armies even made the million-strong army below feel a chill in their hearts, as if they had fallen into an ice cave. In front of the 4 armies, a majestic 9-headed lion that looked like it was made of gold roared at the sky. The terrifying sound waves of the lion's roar reverberated in all directions, sending chills down everyone's spine. On the golden war chariot pulled by the 9-headed lion, a figure shrouded in a hazy divine light stood with his hands behind his back. His expression was indifferent, as if he was the son of a god. A cold and domineering voice came from his mouth. The ancient kingdom of Phoenix belongs to the Son of God. Whoever dares to touch it again will be executed without mercy. That one sentence made the world change color, and an unprecedented murderous aura filled the air. The Wind Shadow Guard of the June family, heed my command. The Royal Guards of the June family, heed my command. The Fire Cavalry of the June family, heed my command. The Divine Guards of the June family, heed my command. The 4 Divine Guards of the Wind, Forest, Fire, and Mountain Guards shouted in unison and descended from the sky. A rumbling sound was heard, and the entire earth seemed to tremble 3 times. There were only 40,000 soldiers, but they made the million-strong army of the 3 ancient nations go pale and terrified. Those are the Wind, Forest, Fire, and Mountain Guards of the June family. Oh my God, it's the June family's army. The June family is here. When the soldiers of the 3 ancient nations saw the word June on the banner, their faces went pale and they looked terrified. After all, the June family's power was too great. The Wind, Forest, Fire, and Mountain Guards were also the June family's top troops, and their deterrence was off the charts. It's the June family. The Emperor of the Azure Dragon Country and the others looked shocked as well. Jun Xiaoyao's words made the Emperor of the Azure Dragon Country's expression even worse. On the side of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, everyone was shocked, stunned, and in disbelief. In the end, they all looked ecstatic and exhilarated. It's the June family. The Son of God of the June family is here to save us. An old minister of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix cried tears of joy. Baiyu-Er's body trembled, and she covered her red lips with her jade-like hands. She was so emotional that tears kept falling from her eyes. The figure that she had been thinking about day and night had finally appeared. He was still wearing a robe whiter than snow, and he still looked so otherworldly. At that moment, Jun Xiaoyao looked like the savior of the world. He was the only god in Baiyu-Er's heart. The entire book. Chapter 87. The nine-headed lion pulled the golden chariot in the sky. Jun Xiaoyao, dressed in white, stood on top of the chariot with his hands behind his back. His robe billowed in the wind, making him look like a god who ruled over the world. At that moment, Bai and the people of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix looked at Jun Xiaoyao with extreme excitement and fanaticism in their eyes, as if they were looking at a savior of the world. Aside from the 3 layers of snow, no one else in the world was worthy of wearing white. Jun Xiaoyao was their god. How is this possible? Why would the Jun family come? The faces of the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country, the Emperor of White Tiger Country, and the Emperor of Black Tortoise Country were slightly pale. Although they were saints who were high and mighty, they were still intimidated when facing a behemoth like the Jun family. Even supreme beings would be extremely wary of the Jun family, let alone saints. At that moment, although they did not see any saints of the Jun family arrive, Jun Xiaoyao alone was enough to intimidate them. Jun Xiaoyao was not a saint, but his deterrence was more powerful than a saint's. That was because going against Jun Xiaoyao was basically going against the Jun family. How many people dared to mess with the Jun family of the ancients? Lord Son of God, Bai and the others gazed at Jun Xiaoyao with joy in their hearts. The Son of God is finally here. The Emperor of Phoenix, who was in the sky, secretly breathed a sigh of relief. At first, the Emperor of Phoenix still felt a little uncomfortable about the ancient kingdom of Phoenix surrendering to Jun Xiaoyao. But now, that feeling was completely gone. In the end, it was still Jun Xiaoyao's turn to save the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. Jun Xiaoyao lowered his eyes slightly and looked down at the army of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, which was only left with tens of thousands of people. He waved his hand slightly. The 4 armies of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain immediately received the order. They seemed to have turned into 4 torrents that could pierce through everything, charging at the allied army of the 3 nations. It was hard to imagine that an army of only 40,000 people could go against an army of 1,000,000. However, the result left everyone speechless. The army of 1,000,000 was unable to stop the 4 armies at all. In front of the wind, forest, fire, mountain, these alliance army troops couldn't even take a single hit. In just a few collisions, the allied army of the 3 countries had already lost more than 100,000 people. This was simply terrifying, making one tremble in fear. The 4 guards of the Jun family are too strong. Demons, they are demons. Run. The soldiers in all directions were terrified. The 1,000,000-strong army was utterly defeated. The surviving soldiers of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, on the other hand, let out furious roars and began to retaliate. Up in the sky, the Azure Dragon King and the others were dumbfounded. They hadn't expected the Jun family's army to be so strong. With just 40,000 people, their 1,000,000-strong army collapsed in an instant. Jun family, Son of God, what exactly do you want? The Emperor of Azure Dragon Country asked in a heavy tone. How is it? It's simple. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Then, he raised his eyebrows and said with a cold look in his eyes, either you retreat, or I'll exterminate your entire clan. His words were like a sudden clap of thunder. The 1,000,000 people were all astonished. Shouldn't such words be uttered by an emperor like the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country? However, when those words came out of Jun Xiaoyao's mouth, no one felt the slightest bit out of place. How could the status of the son of God of the Jun family be compared to that of an emperor of a mere country? Jun Xiaoyao, the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country's face turned pale. The aura of a saint burst out of him uncontrollably. I, the Son of God, am standing right here. I'll let you make your move. Do you dare? Jun Xiaoyao flicked his sleeves and stepped into the air, standing opposite the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country. He was only at the Consolidation Realm, but he showed no fear when facing the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country, who was a saint. His aura even gave people the feeling that Jun Xiaoyao was the Emperor, and the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country was the subject. So, this is the might of the Son of God of the Jun family? Below, everyone from the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird was so excited that they trembled. Bai Yu's beautiful scarlet eyes were filled with intense worship and fanaticism. Jun Xiaoyao, don't go overboard. We have the young master behind us. He told us to do this. The Emperor of Azure Dragon Country said in a serious tone. He did not dare to go up against the Jun family himself, so he could only use the name of the young master behind him. Oh, Jun Xiaoyao's gaze sharpened. He had long guessed that there might be someone else behind the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon. Now, it seemed that he was right. Furthermore, to be able to tame the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country and the others into submission, that young master's identity and background must be very shocking. However, Jun Xiaoyao had no reason to be afraid. No matter how great his identity and background were, could he beat him? I don't care who's behind you. No one can withstand the wrath of the Son of God. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed coldly. He then raised his hand and used his fingers as a sword. Vast sword aura gushed out, and vigorous sword will surged. A dazzling sword aura, accompanied by countless shadows of deities, swept down from Jun Xiaoyao's hand. The sword aura shocked the world. It was the first move of the Immortal Slayer's sword art, falling immortal. Rumble. A sword aura tens of thousands of feet long fell from the sky and smashed into the million-strong army. In an instant, blood splattered and countless screams were heard. Tens of thousands of soldiers were killed by a single slash. The allied army of the three countries, who were already in a state of panic after being slaughtered by the four armies, collapsed and fled in all directions. Seeing this, the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country was burning with rage. He almost couldn't help but attack. However, when he thought of the consequences of attacking Jun Xiaoyao, he suppressed his urge. Retreat. The Emperor of Azure Dragon Country looked conflicted, but he still gave the order. If this dragged on, who knew how many of the million-strong army would be left? He did not dare to do anything to Jun Xiaoyao, so he could only retreat for the time being and let the young master make the decision. If the young master made a move himself, the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country would not have to bear the wrath of the Jun family. Hearing the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country's order to retreat, the Emperor of White Tiger Country and the Emperor of Black Tortoise Country retreated as well. The million-strong army was reduced to 600,000 in a short amount of time, and they fled like stray dogs. In just a few moments, the mighty allied army of the three countries was nowhere to be seen. Jun Xiaoyao watched the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country and the others retreat, but he did not continue to pressure them. That was because the Emperor of Azure Dragon Country and the others were not the most important thing. The most important thing was the young master behind them. What was his goal in unifying the four great ancient countries? Was it purely to make them his own forces? It was because he wanted to find out the answer to his doubts that Jun Xiaoyao chose to cast a long line to catch a big fish. The surviving generals and soldiers of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird all had joy on their faces after surviving a disaster. They looked at Jun Xiaoyao with deep gratitude in their eyes. Without Jun Xiaoyao, the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird would have either been destroyed or surrendered. In the sky, the Emperor of Vermilion Bird bowed deeply to Jun Xiaoyao and said, "Thank you, Son of God, for your help. If it were not for the Son of God, the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird would have been in danger today." Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand slightly and said, "The ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird is my force. Naturally, I would not watch it be destroyed." Lord Son of God, Bai Yu bowed deeply to Jun Xiaoyao as well. Don't be too happy just yet. The young master behind them will not let this go easily," Jun Xiaoyao said. The entire book. Chapter 88. The king of Vermilion Bird's expression turned very serious when he heard that. To be able to make the three ancient nations submit and possess such terrifying forces, that young master's background was obviously not low. However, the thought of Jun Xiaoyao calmed the king of Vermilion Bird down. No matter how high that young master's background was, could he compare to Jun Xiaoyao? No matter how powerful the forces behind him were, could they compare to the Jun family of the ancients? That was why the king of Vermilion Bird was not worried at all. "All right, let's head back to the palace. I have something to ask you all," Jun Xiaoyao said. On the one hand, He wanted to check in at the palace of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. On the other hand, he wanted to ask some questions. "Yes, son of God. This way, please." The king of Vermilion Bird personally led the way. Jun Xiaoyao stepped onto the golden chariot and followed behind. "Sai, I was just warming up, and it's already over," Jun Zhangjin said as he twisted his wrist. Those sequences had also joined the battle just now. "It won't be over so easily. I'm afraid they'll be back in a few days," Jun Linglong said. She had Linglong's heart in her, which made her smart enough to know that the young master behind the three ancient nations would not let things go just like that. So what if they're back? What can they do in front of the young master? Jun Wanjia sneered. In front of the Jun family of the ancients, even a dragon would have to coil up and a tiger would have to lie down. Jun Xiaoyao then entered the imperial city. Every citizen of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird knelt and kowtowed to Jun Xiaoyao. Countless cheers and praises for Jun Xiaoyao were heard everywhere. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was very calm. Those people saw him as a savior and a kind saint. In reality, he was just trying to protect a chess piece in his hand. But then again, it would be a waste not to have such a good reputation. After all, many geniuses were already saying that Jun Xiaoyao was the devil. Jun Xiaoyao also had to shape his image a little. He was no devil. At best, he just liked to harvest leeks. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao stepped into the royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird, the sound of a system notification rang in his head. "Ding! You have arrived at the imperial palace of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. Do you wish to sign in?" "Sign in," Jun Xiaoyao said silently. "Ding! Congratulations to host for obtaining a 4-star award. Ancient Saint Weapon, Guqin, Phoenix Cry Mountain." Jun Xiaoyao sensed it right away as soon as the system finished speaking. Within his spatial artifact, a scarlet and gold-plated zither appeared. The entire zither had a slender shape, and its surface was engraved with the pattern of a phoenix mountain and water. The dark gold edges made it look low-key and luxurious. The 7 strings of a zither were all the color of red crystals. They looked extremely gorgeous and dazzling. "It's actually a zither." Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. Did the system want him to cultivate his body and mind? However, this Guqin was a rare, ancient sacred armament. It was not an ordinary item. Most sages would only use ancient sacred weapons. Moreover, the purpose of this phoenix, Cry Chi Mountain, was obviously not just for pleasure. Jun Xiaoyao's mysterious protector had turned the sound of the zither into a killing blade that could easily injure sages. Therefore, this Phoenix Cry Mountain Guqin was not to be underestimated, even if it was used as a weapon. Not bad, Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. He had just signed in casually, and the system had given him an ancient sacred armament for free. Seems like I can play the zither when I'm free in the future. It's a good thing that I've heard some famous songs in my past life, so I haven't forgotten them, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Son of God, what's the matter? The king of Vermilion Bird saw Jun Xiaoyao standing still and could not help but ask. Nothing. Let's go, Jun Xiaoyao said. After that, the king of Vermilion Bird led Jun Xiaoyao to a luxurious building. Jun Xiaoyao let Jun Zhangjin and the others rest. Only Jun Xiaoyao, the king of Vermilion Bird, and Bai Yu, were left in the building. Jun Xiaoyao said, I have something to ask you. Son of God, please go ahead, the king of Vermilion Bird said respectfully. Is there any secret history of the 4 ancient nations? Jun Xiaoyao asked. The king of Vermilion Bird thought for a moment and said, To be honest, according to historical records, the predecessor of our 4 ancient nations was an ancient dynasty that was close to an immortal force called the 4 Symbols Ancient Nation. The founder of the 4 Symbols Ancient Nation was a supreme, honorable 4 Symbols. The founders of our 4 ancient nations, Master Azure Dragon, Master White Tiger, Master Vermilion Bird, and Master Black Tortoise, were the 4 disciples of the supreme, honorable 4 Symbols. The king of Vermilion Bird's explanation made Jun Xiaoyao raise his eyebrows slightly. He didn't expect the 4 ancient nations to have such a history. If that's the case, The Azure Dragon King's goal should be to unify the four ancient nations and make them the four symbols ancient nation again. Then, he'll be the ruler. Jun Xiaoyao guessed. But what's the purpose of the young master behind him? Is it just to control the four symbols ancient nation? Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. Bai Yu bit her lip and said, Lord Son of God, Yu has a guess. Oh, let's hear it, Jun Xiaoyao said. Yu thinks that the young master behind them wants to collect all the bronze compass parts of the four ancient nations, Bai Yu said. Bronze compass parts? Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. The king of Vermilion Bird explained. It turned out that the supreme honorable four symbols who founded the four symbols ancient nation had come across a bronze compass by chance. The bronze compass was related to a great secret. Later on, this news was somehow leaked. Many powerhouses wanted to fight for the compass in the hands of the supreme honorable four symbols. The supreme honorable four symbols was besieged and severely injured. He secretly divided the bronze compass into four parts and gave them to his four disciples, who were Master Blue Dragon and the others. Later on, his four disciples each founded their own nation, which became the four ancient nations today. The quarter of the bronze compass parts became an antique passed down from generation to generation in the four ancient nations. Let me see that part, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. The king of Vermilion Bird nodded respectfully. If it were anyone else, the king of Vermilion Bird would have slapped them if they dared to covet the bronze compass parts. But since Jun Xiaoyao had asked, he took it out without hesitation. When Jun Xiaoyao saw the part, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. He realized that the bronze compass parts were made of the same material as the bronze fragment in the wooden box. And the bronze fragment was related to one of the seven wonders, the bronze immortal palace. I see. I understand now. No wonder the supreme honorable four symbols was besieged. This bronze compass is related to a great secret. It's the bronze immortal palace. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. This was definitely a great secret. He now knew what the young master's goal was. He must have known that the bronze compass was related to the bronze immortal palace. This compass is interesting, Jun Xiaoyao said as he fiddled with it. The king of Vermilion Bird observed his expression and immediately said, Since the Son of God likes it, I'll give it to the Son of God. Jun Xiaoyao nodded in satisfaction. The king of Vermilion Bird was quite tactful. The other three parts must be in the hands of that young master. Now, even if he doesn't come looking for trouble, this Son of God will find trouble with him. Jun Xiaoyao revealed his usual smile. But Jun Zhangjian and the others, who were familiar with this smile, knew. This smile meant that Jun Xiaoyao was about to start harvesting leeks again. The complete book. Chapter 89. There was a city thousands of miles away from the imperial capital of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. The city had been taken over by the allied forces of the three ancient nations. At the moment, in a luxurious palace at the center of the city, on the ground, the corpses of several dancers were strewn all over the place. The rulers of the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, and Black Tortoise nations stood with their hands at their sides. A cold and furious voice was heard from the bed's curtains right above them. You failed. Your million-strong allied forces can't even take down a puny ancient kingdom of Phoenix. You didn't bring me the compass parts, and you didn't even bring by you. Are you all trash that only knows how to eat sh*t? That voice was incomparably furious and carried a chilling intent. The ruler of the Azure Dragon Nation and the others lowered their heads and remained silent. They had long gotten used to the young master's temperamental, manic, and violent personality. The ruler of the White Tiger Nation and the ruler of the Black Tortoise Nation were both furious at being scolded in such a manner. They gritted their teeth. However, when they saw the four dark figures standing around them, the anger in their hearts turned into helplessness. The son of God of the Jun family, Jun Xiaoyao. Ha! Do you really think you're so big shot? The voice was cold and harsh. Jun Xiaoyao's status and strength were indeed something that few could match. However, that did not mean that no one could compete with him. Although the Jun family was extremely prosperous and glorious, it was still impossible for them to control the entire mystic realm. The young master did not believe in such a thing. Pass down my order. Reorganize the army. I will lead the army in 3 days. Let's see if the son of God of the June family will give me face. The voice shouted coldly. Yes, sir. The ruler of the Azure Dragon Nation and the others cupped their hands and left the hall. As long as the last part is collected, we will have the complete bronze compass. It will be very helpful in exploring the bronze mystic palace. No one is allowed to get in my way, not even the son of God of the June family. Late at night, in a luxurious building in the imperial palace of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, the melodious sound of the zither drifted out from the pavilion. It made one feel relaxed and happy, as if they had ascended to a higher level. Inside the pavilion, Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged on the bed. The Phoenix Cry Chishan zither was placed on his lap. His fair and slender fingers plucked the 7 strings, and the sound of the zither was leisurely. This song was one of the top 10 ancient zither songs that Jun Xiaoyao had heard in his previous life, High Mountain and Flowing Water. Listening to it, one's restless emotions seemed to have been soothed. Jun Xiaoyao didn't take this so-called young master to heart at all, appearing very leisurely and leisurely. When Jun Xiaoyao was playing the zither, he also vaguely felt a faint fluctuation of spirit. Is it my mysterious guardian? Jun Xiaoyao murmured. His Dao protector also seemed to use zither music as a means of attack. At this moment, when she heard Jun Xiaoyao playing the zither, she couldn't help but reveal a trace of emotion. After the zither song ended, the mysterious protector still did not show himself. However, there was a knock on the door. Come in, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. Dressed in a red gauze dress, Bayur walked in with a cup of tea. Son of God, please have some tea, Bayur said in an obedient tone. It wasn't easy for her to get the opportunity to serve tea for Jun Xiaoyao from Jun Linglong. Bayur served the tea while secretly sneaking glances at Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao, who was playing the zither, had a different temperament, which made him look even more otherworldly. Any woman would probably fall for him and be unable to extricate herself just by looking at him. Jun Xiaoyao put away the Phoenix Cry Chishan zither and took the tea. He took a sip. He glanced at Bayou, and suddenly noticed that the red gauze dress she was wearing now seemed a little transparent. Her snow-white skin was faintly discernible. There was a faint hint of charm and seduction. Jun Xiaoyao ignored her and continued to drink his tea. Bayou bit her lips slightly and said, Son of God, the ancient kingdom of Phoenix has a special feature. It's called the Phoenix Spirit Spring. Bathing in it not only relaxes the mind, but also promotes the smoothness of the blood vessels in the body. Would you like to give it a try, Son of God? Sure. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. Isn't this a hot spring? Bayou looked delighted and led Jun Xiaoyao to the Phoenix Spirit Spring. There was a spring in the depths of the palace, which was gurgling with warm spirit qi. The dense spirit qi made it look like a fairyland. Son of God, let me serve you, Bayur said. Jun Xiaoyao didn't refuse. He should still enjoy what he had to. There was probably no one in the ancient kingdom of Phoenix who could enjoy being served by the princess. Bayur took off Jun Xiaoyao's robe. In an instant, Jun Xiaoyao's fair and well-proportioned upper body, which looked like it was carved out of immortal jade, was revealed to Bayur. Bayur swallowed hard. She clamped her legs together. Jun Xiaoyao entered the Phoenix Spirit Spring and breathed a long sigh of relief. This hot spring was really good. Bayur was in a strange state. Her face was abnormally flushed, and her hands were trembling slightly as she massaged Jun Xiaoyao's shoulders. Jun Xiaoyao noticed and thought to himself, Is she in heat? Lord Son of God. Bayur's voice trembled slightly, and her scarlet eyes were watery. She was simply too greedy for Jun Xiaoyao's body. Jun Xiaoyao closed his eyes and said indifferently, Remember your status and don't overstep the rules. Jun Xiaoyao's words were like a bucket of cold water that instantly woke Bayur up. Indeed, she was only Jun Xiaoyao's slave, and her status did not match at all. Jun Xiaoyao was a man she could not have. I'm sorry, Lord Son of God, I've been rude. Bayou bit her lip, and her heart was filled with bitterness. Jun Xiaoyao did not feel sorry for her. He was not a philanthropist, and he was not a stud horse who would go with the flow whenever he saw a woman. He had no problem with women. However, he had to be careful. Bayuer was only his slave and chess piece. How could she have a right to touch his body? She wanted to break Jun Xiaoyao's virginity, not to mention a door. She did not even have a window. Leave me alone for a while. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was cold as he closed his eyes to rest. Bayuer left with a gloomy expression. However, the admiration and infatuation in her eyes for Jun Xiaoyao did not diminish. Jun Xiaoyao had neglected a point. The more unobtainable something was, the more coveted it was. 3 days passed in a short span of 3 days. During this time, the entire ancient kingdom of Phoenix did not let down their guard. However, with Jun Xiaoyao and the 4 guards of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain guards holding the fort, the people of the ancient kingdom were obviously much more at ease. Jun Xiaoyao had been relaxing for the past few days. He was either playing the guqin or soaking in hot springs. At this moment, Jun Linglong was making tea and serving him in the vermilion bird spirit spring. Jun Xiaoyao said casually, "If that guy still doesn't show up, I'm going to go look for him." That guy is probably wary of you, young master. However, I don't think he'll give up so easily." Jun Linglong chuckled. As expected, at this moment, Jun Shuohuang reported from outside. "Son of God, the allied forces of the 3 ancient kingdoms are marching toward the imperial capital again. They're finally here? I've been waiting for a long time." Jun Xiaoyao got up, and Jun Linglong thoughtfully helped him change into his clothes. Jun Xiaoyao, who was dressed in white and spotless, had a playful smile on his face. "Let me, the son of God, see who this so-called young master is." The entire book. Chapter 90. Outside the imperial city of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, the massive coalition army of the 3 ancient nations attacked once again. However, many of the soldiers still had some lingering fear on their faces. After all, they were already scared out of their wits last time by the 4 armies of the Jun family. However, despite the lingering fear in their hearts, the Alliance army did not panic too much. That was because they heard from their generals that there would be some big shots and mysterious forces helping them. Even if the son of God of the Jun family showed up, he would not be able to stop the destruction of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. On the other hand, the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was already prepared. Tens of thousands of soldiers of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix stood guard outside the imperial city. The king of Phoenix, Bayuer, and the others had also shown up. "Is Lord Son of God not here yet?" Bayuer asked the attendant beside her. "Your Highness, the news has already been sent. He should be here soon," the attendant replied. "Very well." Bayuer nodded slightly. She would not feel at ease until she saw Jun Xiaoyao. On the other side, the coalition army of the 3 ancient nations had already approached the imperial city. 3 silhouettes appeared in the sky. They were none other than the kings of the Azure Dragon, the White Tiger, and the Black Tortoise. However, what caught the attention of the King of Phoenix and the others was, in the void behind the 3 of them, there was actually an incomparably gorgeous bed that was carved out of gold floating in the air. That was right. It was an extremely spacious bed. There were dragon heads carved on the 4 corners of the bed. There were also gauze curtains covering the 4 sides of the bed. However, one could vaguely make out the silhouettes of many beautiful women. Even the Vermilion Bird King was rather taken aback by what he saw. Could it be that the mysterious young master mentioned by the Azure Dragon King was on that bed? But this was too strange. Who would refine a bed into a flying magic artifact? The King of Phoenix's expression froze at that thought. Could it be that person? The King of Phoenix's heart sank slightly. If it was as he speculated, then the situation would be dire. Even with the son of God of the Jun family backing him, it would be extremely troublesome. King of Phoenix, we meet again." The King of Azure Dragon chuckled. This time, however, he appeared to be very confident. "It seems that you people still haven't given up on your evil intentions. Haven't you suffered enough last time?" The Vermilion Bird King was equally unyielding. He had the support of the Jun family's son of God, so there was no need for him to be afraid of that mysterious young master. At this moment, a cold and arrogant voice sounded from the golden dragon bed. "Vermilion Bird King, This marquee will give you one last chance. Submit to me, hand over that thing, and the voice paused for a moment before continuing. Make princess by you or my concubine, said the marquis. His cold and arrogant tone resounded throughout heaven and earth. The faces of those from the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird flushed red with anger. The Vermilion Bird King's face was as cold as ice, but when he heard the mysterious man refer to himself as the marquis, his heart sank. There was an 80 to 90% chance that it was that person. However, right at this moment, an even colder and more domineering voice sounded from the sky. You want this son of God's woman to become a concubine? Who do you think you are? Golden divine light burst from the depths of the imperial capital. It was a majestic, nine-headed lion, pulling a golden chariot as it soared into the sky. A peerless figure stood on top of the chariot, looking like a white-robed deity. His might shook the universe. Behind him were Jun Jian and the other three, leading the four guards of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain. They were like four torrents that could destroy everything. The Jun family son of God is here, that a top-level far ancient royal creature, a nine-headed lion, and he's using it to pull a chariot? And the four guards of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain are here, too. The allied forces of the three ancient kingdoms were in an uproar. After all, they were still traumatized. It was not just the four guards of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain. Jun Xiaoyao had killed tens of thousands of soldiers with a single slash of the immortal Slayer's sword chant. Jun Xiaoyao stood in the sky above the imperial capital. The arrival of him and the four guards of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain calmed the hearts of those from the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. Baiyu Er's eyes flashed with joy, because Jun Xiaoyao said that he was the son of God's woman. That meant that she belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. Even if she was a female slave, she would be Jun Xiaoyao's female slave. Son of God. The king of Vermilion Bird cupped his hands at Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand and looked at the golden bed. He had some guesses. If he was not wrong, they were not far from the truth. The son of God of the Jun family is indeed as arrogant and condescending as the rumors say. A cold voice came from the golden bed. Jun Xiaoyao's reprimand just now made him extremely unhappy. However, he did not fly into a rage because of the son of God of the Jun family. It seems that you are the mastermind behind the three ancient kingdoms. Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands behind his back and said calmly, Mastermind? Ha! I'm just trying to subdue some affiliated forces, the voice said. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. That was obviously an excuse. His goal was the bronze compass passed down from the four ancient kingdoms. Subduing forces was just a cover-up. Moreover, he called himself the Marquis. Jun Xiaoyao was almost able to guess who that person was. The son of God does not like people hiding in front of me. Show yourself. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. He formed a fist seal and threw a punch. He was at the late stage of the consolidation realm, which was much more powerful than when he was at the celestial bridge realm. It was the same move, but the power that burst out was completely different. A lifelike golden dragon wrapped around his fist and punched out. It was the dragon fist. Everyone only heard a dragon's roar as a long golden dragon soared through the sky, bombarding the golden dragon bed. Jun Xiaoyao did not add the power of the divine elephant overpowering force, but that punch was enough to shatter a 1,000-meter-tall mountain. Humph! A cold snort came from the golden bed. A palm stretched out, overflowing with magic power. It was as if it had turned into thousands of palms in an instant, slapping the void, causing the space to tremble slightly. Primordial chaos loose hands. It seems that it is him. Jun Wanjia's eyes flashed. Previously, he had more or less confirmed the identity of that person. Now that he had used the divine ability, his identity was completely exposed. Rumble. In the void, the two people's moves collided, setting off huge waves. Countless people below were speechless. Was this the battle of a consolidation realm prodigy? Why did it feel as terrifying as a saint? Violent waves of air swept in all directions, but Jun Xiaoyao's figure did not move at all. The golden bed, on the other hand, was shaken back and the gauze curtain was torn and fluttered. Finally, the figure of the person inside was revealed. Many scantily clad beauties were directly shaken to death by this shockwave and fell on the bed in a disorderly manner. At the center of the bed was a young man with a jade crown on his head and a golden robe on his body. His appearance was plain and unremarkable, and there was nothing special about him. He stared at Jun Xiaoyao with a cold look on his face. "It is indeed you, Marquis Champion of the Jin Dynasty of Panwu," Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. The whole book. Chapter 91. In actuality, Jun Xiaoyao had more or less guessed what had happened. The chaotic element, loose hands, the way he addressed himself as a marquis, and the golden dragon bed. Other than the Marquis Champion of the Panwu Jin Dynasty, Jun Xiaoyao could not think of anyone else. Speaking of the Marquis Champion, Yang Pan, his story was legendary. It was said that he used to be a horse-rearing manservant in a royal residence. He was of a lowly status and had to endure the fickleness of human nature. However, one day, he picked up a divine sword by accident and rose to prominence. That divine sword was none other than the Panwu Jin Dynasty's founder, the Panwu Great Emperor, one of the Panwu Three Swords, the Panhuang Sword of Life. Yang Pan rose to prominence with the Panhuang Sword of Life, collecting all kinds of opportunities and eventually becoming the Marquis Champion of the Panwu Jin Dynasty. Many people of the Panwu Jin Dynasty even believe that Yang Pan was the reincarnation of Great Emperor Panwu. Of course, this news was somewhat vague and had not been confirmed. Regardless, Yang Pan's honorable status in the Panwu Jin Dynasty was undeniable. There was even news that the Jin Dynasty's eldest princess, Wu Mingyue, had chosen Yang Pan as her son-in-law. This showed how much the Panwu Jin Dynasty valued Yang Pan. Now, when the Marquis Champion revealed his identity, other than Jun Xiaoyao and a few others who had guessed it, everyone else was shocked. It really is him, the Marquis Champion Yang Pan. The Vermilion Bird King took a deep breath, feeling very uneasy. This was definitely a top genius of the Huangtian mystic realm, and his strength was frighteningly strong. Most importantly, due to the fact that Yang Pan had risen from humble beginnings and came from the very bottom, his temperament was extremely extreme. He was extremely arrogant, untamed, and temperamental. It was like a citizen who won a 100 million lottery, and his ego would definitely be inflated. The Marquis Champion was such an inflated person. Bai Yuer's face turned pale as she felt a lingering fear. She could not imagine what would have happened to her if Jun Xiaoyao did not come. She would not have had a good ending if she followed the Marquis Champion. His concubines were more than 3,000. This was the mentality of the nouveau riche at the bottom of society. In the past, he couldn't even dream of having beautiful women, but now he would take them in whenever he saw one. The people of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix were not the only ones who were surprised. The white tiger ruler and the black tortoise ruler were also surprised. However, when they thought about his temperamental personality, it made sense. No wonder it turns out to be the Marquis Champion of the Jin Dynasty. The two monarchs sighed in their hearts. To be honest, the Marquis Champion was not a good master. They would rather have Jun Xiaoyao be their master than follow the Marquis Champion. Now that the mastermind behind the scenes of the three ancient nations had been exposed, the situation was instantly clear. Obviously, this was a contest between the Jun family son of God and the Jin Dynasty's Marquis Champion. Jun Xiaoyao took a deep look at the Marquis of Champion as a strange glint flashed across his eyes. So that's how it is. His aura. Jun Xiaoyao murmured in his heart as he understood something. Jun family son of God. This is the first time we've met, but it's not a pleasant one. Yang Pan's tone was cold. There was a hint of jealousy in his eyes. Yes, jealousy. He was jealous of nothing else but Jun Xiaoyao's appearance. Yang Pan's looks were nothing out of the ordinary. Even Xiao Chan was far more handsome than him, let alone Jun Xiaoyao. Yang Pan's personality was narrow-minded and selfish. After he became the Marquis Champion from a lowly servant, his personality had not changed at all. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at the corpses lying on the golden dragon bed and sneered softly. So, you made such a big bed for a group exercise. What do you mean by that? Yang Pan narrowed his eyes slightly. I'm saying that a mere servant who keeps horses has the guts to steal peaches from the Son of God. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was cold and sarcastic. When Jun Xiaoyao took Bai Yuer as his slave, he had already planned to take over the four symbols, ancient nations. He did not expect the marquee champion to interfere. However, after hearing this, the entire battlefield fell into a dead silence. Being a servant who kept horses was an eternal humiliation in Yang Pan's heart. It was a past that could not be mentioned. After Yang Pan became the marquee champion, he directly killed the entire family of the prince that he used to stay in. There were hundreds of people in the mansion. Not a single one was left alive. Since then, no one dared to mention his past in front of Yang Pan. But now, Jun Xiaoyao calmly said that Yang Pan was a servant who kept horses. This was simply a sore spot in Yang Pan's heart. Jun Xiaoyao, you're courting death. Yang Pan's eyes were gloomy and his face was pale. He could not take it anymore and directly attacked. He pointed a finger, and his magic power surged and condensed into a giant red finger of magic power, which crushed toward Jun Xiaoyao. It was the divine ability of the Jin dynasty, the great sun divine finger. Huh, who's the one courting death? You overconfident fool. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent as he activated the divine elephant overpowering force. 100,000 granules of the giant elephant burst out, and his physical body was instantly reinforced with 1 billion pounds of divine power. The power was so overwhelming that it could shatter the sky with a punch. Jun Xiaoyao reached out, and the spear of the underworld appeared. He threw it out, and it seemed to pierce through the void. The spear of the underworld collided with the great sun divine finger. It was like two giant stars colliding, and magic power rippled through the sky. In this collision, the great sun divine finger was directly penetrated by the spear of the underworld divine finger, and then it continued to charge toward Yang Pan. Your strength. Yang Pan's expression changed. Previously, when Jun Xiaoyao reached the late stage of the consolidation realm, it was already enough to shock him. The power of Jun Xiaoyao's move at the moment was far beyond what he had expected. Heavenly Dipper, God Seal. Yang Pan hurriedly made another move. He formed a seal with both hands and pushed it out horizontally toward the spear of the underworld divine finger. However, the terrifying force of 1 billion pounds caused Yang Pan's expression to change drastically. Poochie. Yang Pan's body was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. The spear of the underworld divine finger landed on the golden dragon bed and shattered it. The scene fell into a dead silence. Ow! How is this possible? That's the marquee of the champion, Yang Pan. Many people were stunned and were petrified. How could the marquee of the champion of the immortal Jin dynasty be so weak? It's not that the marquee of the champion is weak, but that the son of God of the Jun family is too strong. A general of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix said with a fanatical look in his eyes. Everyone in the ancient kingdom of Phoenix worshipped Jun Xiaoyao to another level. The son of God of the Jun family was able to defeat even the marquee of the champion with ease. He was indeed an invincible existence among the younger generation. However, there were also people who looked doubtful. That marquee of the champion. Jun Wanjie focused his eyes and looked puzzled. He had fought with the marquee of the champion before, and even he felt a great deal of pressure. Jun Xiaoyao's current strength was unbelievably strong. However, no matter how weak the marquee of the champion was, there was no way he would be defeated so easily. Furthermore, the marquee of the champion still had his strongest trump card, which was the Pan Huang Sword of Life. Just as everyone was talking about it, Jun Xiaoyao pointed out the truth with a plain tone. Yang Pan, should I say that you're arrogant or stupid? You're just a clone, yet you have the courage to make a move against the Son of God. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, the faces of everyone present froze again. That marquee of the champion, Yang Pan, was just a clone? The whole thing. Chapter 92. While Yang Pan was being overpowered by Jun Xiaoyao when he fought earlier, The powerful aura he emanated was still frightening to behold. It could be said that ordinary geniuses from immortal forces would never be able to defeat Yang Pan. However, Jun Xiaoyao was now saying that the Yang Pan in front of him was just a clone. That was rather terrifying. If even his doppelganger had such strength, then how powerful was Yang Pan's main body? Jun Xiaoyao looked calm. The moment he saw Yang Pan, he knew that he was just a clone. But Jun Xiaoyao did not care about that. Be it a clone or a clone, they were all the same to him. He could suppress them as he pleased. There was not much difference. At most, he would only need to use a few more moves to suppress the real one. In the distance, Yang Pan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His face was extremely gloomy. He said coldly, "There is no need for the real one to take over the Four Quadrants ancient nation. I just didn't expect to run into you." Yang Pan was boiling with anger. He was indeed just a clone. Yang Pan's real one was still in the Jin dynasty. But in Yang Pan's opinion, even if it was just a clone, it was more than enough to take over the Four Quadrants ancient nation. He did not need to do it himself. But who would have thought that Jun Xiaoyao was behind the ancient kingdom of Phoenix? That was a huge variable that hindered Yang Pan's plan. Yang Pan took a deep breath and said coldly, "Jun Xiaoyao, since you know that I'm just a clone, you should know how powerful the real one is. If you stop now, there's still room for you to stay." Yang Pan knew that it was impossible for his clone to defeat Jun Xiaoyao. Therefore, he could only use his real one to suppress the other. "I don't care if you're just a clone or not. What difference does it make to me, the son of God? I can crush you with one palm." Jun Xiaoyao put his hands behind his back and looked indifferent. "You." Yang Pan raised his eyebrows. His eyes were filled with coldness. As expected of Lord Son of God, Bai Yu'er and the others looked at him with admiration. How many people in the Huangtian mystic realm dared to look down on the marquee champion of the Jin dynasty? "Fine, Jun Xiaoyao. You refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit," Yang Pan said. Around him, four pitch-black silhouettes materialized, carrying with them a suffocating amount of pressure. "It's those four sages." The white tiger ruler and the black tortoise ruler's eyes were filled with fear. If it weren't for the four saints, the two countries wouldn't have been defeated so easily. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at them and shook his head slightly. "For puppets comparable to the sage realm. Yang Pan, you're quite lucky." "What? That's a puppet?" The white tiger and black tortoise monarchs were astonished. "So what if you're puppets? It's enough to suppress you all." Yang Pan sneered. He had no intention of killing Jun Xiaoyao. If he were to kill Jun Xiaoyao with his own strength, then even the Jun family would not be able to find any evidence against him. After all, it was normal for the younger generation to die in a fight. However, if Yang Pan were to kill Jun Xiaoyao with the sage's puppets, the Jun family would definitely be furious. Even the Panwu Jin dynasty behind him would not be able to protect him. While Yang Pan was arrogant beyond measure, he was not brainless. All he needed to do was to suppress Jun Xiaoyao and the others with the sage's puppets. After that, he could simply attack the imperial city of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix and take the compass components. "Jun Xiaoyao, as long as I use the sage's puppets to suppress you, the ancient kingdom of Phoenix will still be mine. Be it that item or Bai Yu'er, they'll all be mine." Yang Pan took a look at Bai Yu'er, and his eyes flashed with a hint of fiery evilness. Bai Yu'er was indeed very beautiful. She was so charming that Yang Pan's heart was itching. He had a habit of collecting beautiful women, and Bai Yu'er was a treasure that he had to have. "Dream on. Can you even compare to a finger of Lord Son of God?" Bai Yu'er rebuked coldly, and her eyes were filled with disgust. While Yang Pan's strength and status were not weak, his appearance, character, and temperament could not be compared to Jun Xiaoyao's at all. One was a celestial being. The other was a commoner. How could the two be compared? "Bitch, let's see if you'll still say that when you submitted to me," Yang Pan rebuked. The four sages' puppets unleashed their auras at the same time, ready to attack. At that moment, Jun Xiaoyao's gaze swept across the rulers. "Do you still want to follow Yang Pan?" Jun Xiaoyao's words made the white tiger ruler and the black tortoise ruler's expressions change, and then the look in their eyes changed. To be honest, Yang Pan was temperamental, and he even called them shit-eating trash. Instead of following the marquee champion and being bullied, it was better to submit to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's status could only be higher than the marquee champions. With that in mind, the two rulers did not hesitate. In a flash, they switched sides and said, "We are willing to submit to the Son of God of the Jun family." You. Cold flames burned in Yang Pan's eyes. The Azure Dragon ruler's face was tense. He did not choose to side with Jun Xiaoyao. That was because his son, Xiao Chun, already had a grudge against Jun Xiaoyao. In addition, the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon was considered the leader of this war. The ancient kingdom of Phoenix would not let the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon off the hook so easily. Most importantly, the Azure Dragon ruler wanted to become the ruler of the four symbols ancient kingdom. Only Yang Pan would be able to fulfill his ambitions. Therefore, the Azure Dragon ruler was determined to cling to Yang Pan's thigh. Jun Xiaoyao didn't seem to mind the Azure Dragon King's indifference. He still wanted to mess with Xiao Chun in the future, so it was not a wise move to take in his father. Do the two of you have a death wish?" Yang Pan said coldly. The faces of the two monarchs were unnatural. Jun Xiaoyao said calmly, "With me around, who would dare to destroy their country?" "Jun Xiaoyao, don't be so smug. I have the Azure Dragon ruler and 5 saints here. We can still suppress you all." At Yang Pan's command, the Azure Dragon ruler led the 4 saint puppets and charged toward Jun Xiaoyao. The vermilion bird, white tiger, and black tortoise rulers' auras also surged as they prepared to meet the enemy. However, Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand and smiled. "There's no need for that for now. Let's just watch the show." "Watch the show." The 3 rulers froze in place. At that moment, the sound of a guqin suddenly rang out in the distance. It turned into a 1,000-foot-long killing blade that cut across the sky. That terrifying zither killing blade even tore space apart. Wherever it passed, a pitch-black spatial crack was left behind. A guardian. Yang Pan's expression changed abruptly. This time, he had come with a clone, so he did not have a guardian with him. However, he did not expect Jun Xiaoyao to have a guardian hiding behind him. Moreover, judging from the power of that move, it was definitely not something an ordinary saint could compare to. Damn it! The Azure Dragon ruler's eyes were filled with unprecedented shock. That guqin killing blade caused even a saint like him to feel a chill run down his spine, and a chill ran down his spine. Imperial Dragon Fist. The Azure Dragon ruler let out a low roar as he fully unleashed his power as a saint. The shadow of an Azure Dragon accompanied his fist as it blasted out, shaking the heavens. However, the result was poof. The killing blade swept across, and a head fell to the ground. The Azure Dragon ruler was dead. In full. Chapter 93. The ruler of the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon, the leader of the 4 great ancient kingdoms, had his throat slit and his head rolled off. Fresh blood splattered across the sky. It was a tragic sight. Everyone was dumbfounded. They never thought that a saint would be killed in an instant so easily. The Emperor of Azure Dragon's head fell to the ground. His expression was one of fear, confusion, and confusion. It was as if he was confused. How could Saint be killed in one move? However, that was not all. The guqin blade did not slow down and continued to sweep toward the 4 saint puppets. Boom! A violent explosion rang out. 2 saint puppets were directly destroyed and cut in half at the waist. The remaining 2 puppets were also severely injured. Although they did not completely disintegrate, they were already in pieces. The entire battlefield was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. The marquee champion's pupils trembled violently, revealing a trace of disbelief. Jun Xiaoyao's protector was that powerful? Yang Pan had originally thought that even if Jun Xiaoyao had a protector, it would only be at the saint realm. Generally speaking, no matter how powerful an expert was, they would not be willing to be a personal nanny. Jun Xiaoyao's protector's strength was clearly above the saint realm. Could it be a saint king? Yang Pan's expression was very ugly. Ever since he became the marquee champion, he had never suffered such a great loss. Now, he had lost almost all of his high-end combat forces. The remaining two damaged puppets were also almost without any combat power on Jun Xiaoyao's side, not to mention the terrifyingly powerful protector. He had 3 saints. In addition, the armies of the White Tiger Ancient Kingdom and the Black Tortoise Ancient Kingdom had turned traitor. The Marquis champion's momentum was gone. Seeing the situation, Yang Pan took a deep breath. Jun Xiaoyao, do you really want to go against me? Why don't we both take a step back now? Yang Pan was not stupid. At this point, if he continued to fight, he would be the one at a disadvantage. Yeah, weren't you quite strong before? Now you're taking a step back? Jun Xiaoyao mocked. Jun Xiaoyao, this Marquis is giving you face. There's no benefit in being enemies with me. Yang Pan said with a gloomy expression, do I, the son of God, need your face? Besides, I have so many enemies. Do you think I would care about a mere horse breeder like you? Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. He didn't say anything else and reached out with his hand. A ferocious golden aura soared into the air, transforming into a lifelike golden divine elephant that seemed capable of suppressing the entire universe. Facing this clone, Jun Xiaoyao didn't even need to use any great divine abilities. He could end the battle with a slap. Jun Xiaoyao, you're digging your own grave. Yang Pan roared, also bursting forth with his own great divine ability. However, he was merely a clone, and he did not even have the Pan Huang life sword with him. How could he possibly be a match for Jun Xiaoyao? Pucci! Jun Xiaoyao pressed down with his palm, directly smashing Yang Pan's clone into a bloody pulp. When they saw this scene, everyone felt their scalps go numb. The Marquis of Champions clone was killed with a single slap, just like that. The son of God of the Jun family has already become so powerful. Many generals were shocked. Their cultivation levels were a few levels higher than Jun Xiaoyao's, but when they saw Jun Xiaoyao's ferocious stance, their hearts palpitated. At the same time that Jun Xiaoyao smashed Yang Pan's clone into pieces, far away in the Panwu Celestial Dynasty, in a magnificent palace that was shrouded in purple mist and filled with a myriad of phenomena, a furious roar came from within. Jun Xiaoyao, I, Yang Pan, am irreconcilable with you. Hearing this voice, the maids and attendants outside the palace all turned pale with fright. If Yang Pan was angered, he was even more terrifying than an Azura demon. I seem to have heard the name of the son of God of the Jun family. What kind of enmity did the Marquis have with him? Some of the servants thought in fear. At this time, Yang Pan's cold voice came from inside the palace. Men, spread the news that I, the Marquis of Champion Yang Pan, will challenge Jun Xiaoyao of the Jun family at the top of the Forbidden City in the Imperial Palace of the Jin Dynasty. Set the time to be on the day of Jun Xiaoyao's Prince Consort selection. I want to stomp Jun Xiaoyao under my feet in front of all the forces in the Mystic region. Hearing this, all the servants around the palace were petrified. Their eyes widened and they gasped. The Marquis of Champion of the Jin Dynasty of Panwu challenged the son of God of the Jun family of the Ancients. This was no small matter. If the news were to spread, it would cause a huge uproar. Furthermore, the timing was set on the day of Wu Mingyue's Prince Consort selection. When the time came, the Jin Dynasty of Panwu would become a hot topic. How many forces would be attracted to come? It was unimaginable. A grand battle of geniuses is about to begin. I hope the Marquis will have the last laugh, an old servant sighed. At the same time, in the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, Jun Xiaoyao did not know that Yang Pan was so angry that he wanted to challenge him to a fight. But even if he knew, Jun Xiaoyao would probably not be affected. How dare Yang Pan make a fuss in front of him? He could just crush him with one palm. The eyes of the countless people in the surroundings were still filled with shock. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, looked indifferent. Casually slapping a Yang Pan clone to death was really not a big deal to him. Jun Xiaoyao looked around and saw a ring flashing in the blood of Yang Pan's clone. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and grabbed it, catching it in his hand. There was a soul seal on the ring. Jun Xiaoyao activated the True Spirit in the Divine Palace at will. The True Spirit, which was like a miniature version of Jun Xiaoyao, released a vigorous spiritual power. Although Jun Xiaoyao's physical body was terrifying, he did not slack on the cultivation of his spiritual power. He had been practicing the meditative method of chaotic divinity all this time. Jun Xiaoyao's spiritual power easily broke through the seal on the ring. Jun Xiaoyao did not care about some of the messy things inside. What he cared about was the bronze compass parts. Sure enough, the 3 bronze compass components were all in there. Yang Pan, you've been planning for so long, but I still took the fruits of your labor in the end. You're practically Yang Pan too. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Yang Pan's painstaking plan ended up benefiting Jun Xiaoyao. He knew that Yang Pan must be so angry that he was about to explode on the spot. Jun Xiaoyao then put the 3 pieces of the compass into his spatial power item. In this way, he had collected all 4 compass parts. But now was not the time to study them. Jun Xiaoyao glanced down at the army of the ancient kingdom of Dragon. Everyone's face was extremely pale. There was even a hint of hatred in the eyes of the generals. After all, their king had indirectly died at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. Pass down the order of the Son of God. Kill all the generals of the ancient kingdom of Dragon who are soldiers and above, Jun Xiaoyao said coldly. Yes. Without waiting for the king of Vermilion Bird to agree, the kings of White Tiger and Black Tortoise hurriedly responded. Since they had surrendered, they naturally had to show some attitude. Soon, they killed all the generals of the ancient kingdom of Dragon, and all the soldiers surrendered. Next, Jun Xiaoyao issued an order to unify the 4 great ancient kingdoms into the 4 symbols ancient kingdom. The king of Vermilion Bird was the ruler of the 4 symbols ancient kingdom, and his successor was none other than Baiyu. The storm in the 4 great ancient kingdoms was thus settled. But just as the waves began to rise, the complete book. Chapter 94. The incident involving the 4 ancient nations was not something that everyone in the mystic realm knew about. However, the dozens of states nearby were in an uproar. In the beginning, no one was optimistic about the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. They thought that the outcome was already set. The ancient kingdom of Phoenix would either submit or be destroyed. However, the news eventually spread and shocked the world. The son of God of the Jun family led the 4 armies of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain to reinforce the ancient kingdom. The person behind the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon was also revealed. It was the marquee champion of the Panwu Jin dynasty. The following news was so shocking that it made everyone's scalp tingle. The son of God of the Jun family killed the marquee champion's clone. Even the emperor of the Azure Dragon dynasty was killed by his protector. The battle between the son of God of the Jun family and the marquee champion of the Jin dynasty ended with Jun Xiaoyao's complete victory. However, there were also many people who knew that the Marquis of Champion, who had a disagreeable and arrogant temperament, would absolutely not be able to endure suffering such a huge loss. As expected, a few days later, news spread from the Panwu Celestial Dynasty. The Marquis Champion, Yang Pan, was going to challenge Jun Xiaoyao at the peak of the Forbidden City. The date he chose was the day when the eldest princess of the Jin dynasty, Wu Mingyue, was choosing her husband. The news was like a boulder falling into the ocean, causing huge waves. Many people knew that Yang Pan had ulterior motives. On the day when Wu Mingyue was choosing her husband, countless forces would come to the Panwu Jin dynasty to observe the ceremony. Under such circumstances, the popularity and influence of the battle between the two would reach its peak. If Yang Pan could really defeat Jun Xiaoyao, the news would spread throughout the Huangtian mystic realm in the shortest time possible. By then, the legend of the son of God of the Jun family would be shattered in an instant. The Marquis Champion would be able to use Jun Xiaoyao's reputation to climb to the top. One had to admit that Yang Pan's choice was a little cunning. Is the Marquis Champion that confident in himself? Many people were discussing. You cannot underestimate the Champion Marquis. He is someone who has been recognized by the Panhuang Life Sword. Furthermore, there are rumors that he is the reincarnation of great Emperor Panwu. That should be a rumor. However, the Champion Marquis is indeed not weak. He can be considered a top figure among the younger generation. I wonder if the son of God of the Jun family will accept the challenge? Let's wait and see. just as everyone else in the immortal region was waiting for Jun Xiaoyao's response. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not release any news. This made many people feel surprised. Could it be that the son of God of the Jun family, who had always been high-profile and flamboyant, was scared? Little did they know. Jun Xiaoyao was studying the bronze compass in the royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. He had already put the 4 pieces of the compass together to form a complete compass. The complete feng shui compass appeared rather simple and profound, carrying with it the aura of time. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not know how to use it for the time being. Could it be that it's not time to use it yet? Jun Xiaoyao guessed. There had been no news of the Bronze Immortal Palace in the entire Immortal region for a long time. Perhaps the time had not come yet. When news of the Bronze Immortal Palace spread again, this compass should be of great use. Thinking of this, Jun Xiaoyao put the bronze compass into his spatial artifact. Looks like I've gained quite a lot from this trip, Jun Xiaoyao mumbled to himself. The most important thing was, of course, the bronze compass. Secondly, he also signed in at the royal palace and obtained the ancient sacred weapon, Phoenix Cry Mountain. In addition, he also integrated the 4 symbols, ancient nations. The current strength of the 4 symbols, ancient nations, was far beyond that of the 4 great ancient nations. Although it was still not comparable to the imperishable orthodoxies, it was already considered a top force. Is he going to challenge me at the top of the Forbidden City? Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. Recently, the news of the Champion Marquis Challenge had caused a lot of commotion. Jun Xiaoyao naturally knew about it. He did not respond because he had been studying the bronze compass. But now, Jun Xiaoyao did not plan to respond. After all, he had already planned to personally go on the day of Wu Mingyue's son-in-law selection. As for the Champion Marquis, he would just suppress him when the time came. Yang Pan, it's hell ahead. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. He knew that Yang Pan had the Pan Huang sort of life. I was also a person with providence. In his eyes, he was a green leek. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking about how to harvest Yang Pan in the future. Far away, in the dark desert state of the 3,000 mystical states. This place could be considered as a deserted province, and there were large expanses of desolate mountains and deserts. In the 3,000 mystical states, it was a relatively desolate state with fewer cultivators. At this moment, outside a mountain range in the dark desert state that exuded a wild aura, a handsome young man in a green robe was kneeling on the ground. His eyes were blood-red as he roared at the sky. It was Xiao Chun. After the secret treasure of Yuan Tian, Xiao Chun came to the dark desert state under the guidance of Master Blue Dragon. He was going to find the ancient nest where the ancient freak of Zulong was buried. However, he had just heard about the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon from a cultivator who was passing by. His father, the king of Dragon Kingdom, was killed by Jun Xiaoyao's protector. The entire ancient kingdom of Dragon was destroyed and merged into the 4 symbols ancient kingdom. Now, Xiao Chun did not even have the identity of the crown prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon. He had completely become a commoner with no background. Jun Xiaoyao, I will skin you alive, tear out your tendons, crush your bones, and scatter your ashes. If I don't do this, I won't be a human. Xiao Chun roared at the sky. Extreme hatred and anger surged in his heart. Master Blue Dragon's soul appeared beside him. His old face was extremely ugly. He had said that Xiao Chun was the son of the nation, but now he did not even have a nation. More importantly, that thing was gone. Sigh, that bronze compass must have fallen into the hands of the son of God of the Jun family. That man has really set things up. Master Blue Dragon sighed deeply. They did not know that Jun Xiaoyao had been preparing to conquer the 4 ancient kingdoms since the moment he met Baiyuer. As for the bronze compass, it was a pleasant surprise. Grand Elder, I want to become stronger. I must kill Jun Xiaoyao. I must kill him. Xiao Chen's eyes were bloodshot. His blood vessels were about to explode. He looked like he had gone mad. Master Azure Dragon furrowed his brows as he yelled, Calm down, Xiao Chun. Your Tao heart is about to be corrupted. Go mad? Haha, so what? I will kill Jun Xiaoyao, no matter what the cost. Xiao Chen's handsome face was twisted. He looked as ferocious as a ghost. Have you forgotten that you still have 2 trump cards? The blood of the Supreme Being in the Gu Nest, Wu Mingyue, and the Panwu Jin dynasty, Master Blue Dragon said. Those words were like a bucket of cold water poured over Xiao Chen's head. He immediately calmed down. That's right. I haven't lost yet. I still have Mingyue. I want to marry her. She will definitely help me. Xiao Chen took a deep breath. Xiao Chen gradually calmed down at the thought of that peerless beauty. Even if he had lost his father and his country, at least there was still a woman who would accompany him and help him. However, Xiao Chen did not know. Wu Mingyue hid the fact that she was Jun Xiaoyao's slave from him. If Xiao Chen found out, it was hard to imagine how crazy he would be. The whole book. Chapter 95. Old Ancestor, I'm sorry. I lost my composure. I have to find the ancient nest and obtain the sovereign's blood so that my strength can evolve. Xiao Chen's character was indeed one of perseverance. He calmed down at that moment. Only by becoming stronger would he be able to marry Wu Mingyue. Xiao Chen, you have to marry Wu Mingyue if you want your plan to succeed. Do you know who is the biggest obstacle to you now? Master Blue Dragon asked. Could it be? Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows. Yes, it is not Jun Xiaoyao, but the marquee champion, Yang Pan. Master Blue Dragon said. As expected, it's Yang Pan. There's news that the prince consort has already been decided internally. It's that champion marquis Yang Pan. But then again, there's no way I would give Mingyue to that kind of licentious scum. Xiao Chen said with a cold expression. The person he hated the most was Jun Xiaoyao. However, he was also very unhappy with Yang Pan. Yang Pan was the one who tried to steal his woman. So what if he was the marquee champion? Wu Mingyue liked him, not that scumbag Yang Pan. Therefore, Xiao Chen made up his mind to trample Yang Pan under his feet in front of everyone on the day of Wu Mingyue's prince consort selection. Only by defeating Yang Pan could he be chosen by the Panwu Jin dynasty. All right, the ancient nest should be in the Huanglong Mountains. Let's go, Master Blue Dragon said. Xiao Chen nodded and entered the mountains in a flash. A few days later, Xiao Chen found a narrow gap in the mountains under the guidance of Master Blue Dragon. He went through the gap and found that there was another world inside. It was like an underground world. All kinds of divine sources were stacked in it, releasing spiritual qi. Xiao Chen was dumbfounded by the sight. What made Xiao Chen gasp even more was that he actually found the blood of the Supreme Lord, which contained the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. The sovereign's blood had gathered into a small blood pool. Just as Xiao Chen was about to take the opportunity, the imperious voice of an empress could be heard all of a sudden. Mortal, how dare you touch my things? Who is it? Xiao Chen was shocked. Not good. It's very likely to be that ancient freak sealed by the immortal origin. Master Azure Dragon transmitted his voice. There's another primordial spirit possessing him? The woman who called herself this palace spoke out, sounding a bit surprised. Xiao Chen gritted his teeth and ignored the voice, continuing to train with the supreme blood. Mortal, how about making a deal with me? The female voice said. A deal? You're just an ancient freak with Archean royalty. What kind of deal do you have with me? Xiao Chen said coldly. I do not know how long I have been asleep. The immortal origin formation has long lost its energy. Go and find the blood of 99 virgin boys and 99 virgin girls for me to activate the immortal origin formation. Then I will help you fulfill a wish. The voice said, I would rather die than do such a crazy thing. Xiao Chen said with a sense of righteousness. Oh, any wish is possible. As long as I say the word, even Zulon will listen to me. The female voice continued. Any wish. Xiao Chen's eyes flickered. If he let this ancient freak from Zulon kill Jun Xiaoyao for him, Xiao Chen suddenly shook his head, suppressing the thought. No need. I will take revenge myself. Xiao Chen continued to focus on absorbing the supreme blood. Haha, is that so? In my opinion, human nature is very dirty. The female voice murmured, then fell silent. Xiao Chen was also relieved. It seemed that the ancient freak from Zulong had some kind of restriction that prevented him from breaking out for the time being. He could finally settle down and focus on his cultivation. Jun Xiaoyao, just you wait. The next time I appear in front of you, don't be surprised. The The flames of revenge ignited in Xiao Chen's eyes. After the situation in the Four Symbols ancient nation was completely stabilized, Jun Xiaoyao also prepared to return to the Jun family. After all, he also had to start preparing for the next scheme, the scheme against the Jin dynasty of Panwu. Jun Xiaoyao had to go to Panwu Hill, not only because of the check-in. It was also because he might find the opportunity to awaken the next vision of the sacred body there. However, Panwu Hill was the private land of the Jin dynasty of Panwu, and it was impossible for outsiders to enter. It was even more so for someone of Jun Xiaoyao's status. No force would be stupid enough to use their own resources to support the geniuses of other forces. When Jun Xiaoyao left the ancient nation of Phoenix, Baiyu was very reluctant to see him go. "I'll leave the Four Symbols ancient nation to you and the King of Phoenix. Don't let me down," Jun Xiaoyao said. "Yes, sir, you will take good care of the ancient nation of Phoenix." Baiyu looked determined. After that, Jun Xiaoyao took everyone back to the Jun family. Meanwhile, the battle between the Marquis of Panwu and the Jin dynasty of Panwu was still brewing. Jun Xiaoyao still did not say anything. This time, some people began to deliberately spread rumors and rumors. They said that the son of God of the Jun family was afraid of the Marquis of Champion and did not dare to accept the challenge. Those who deliberately spread such rumors included supporters of the Marquis of Champion and supporters of the Archean royalty. Their purpose was undoubtedly to smear Jun Xiaoyao's reputation. Of course, there were also many staunch supporters of Jun Xiaoyao, who thought that Jun Xiaoyao just did not want to accept the challenge. Most of these supporters were women. After all, no matter where one was, there was no shortage of die-hard fans. But then again, the truth was just as these supporters thought. Jun Xiaoyao was just too lazy to accept the challenge. When the time came, he could just kill Yang Pan with a slap. Why did he have to go through so much trouble? A few more months passed. Jun Xiaoyao was already 12 years old. His figure was more slender, and his face was more handsome. The only thing that troubled Jun Xiaoyao was that he did not have any celestial source to cultivate the immortal body of the Daoyuo. Later, the Jun family gave Jun Xiaoyao more than a dozen celestial sources, but for Jun Xiaoyao, it was far from enough. Looking at the celestial sources, Jun Xiaoyao never thought that there would be a day when he would lack resources. The immortal body of the Daoyuo consumes a terrifying amount of resources, more than the sacred body of the ancients. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head helplessly. "I'd better stop cultivating and find a way to get some resources. Can I extort some resources from a Jin dynasty of Panwu? As the eldest princess of the Jin dynasty, Wu Mingyue should have a lot of resources." Jun Xiaoyao murmured. If Wu Mingyue heard this, she would probably say that Jun Xiaoyao had the heart of a demon. "Well, it's time to go to the Jin dynasty of Panwu. Some things need to be set up in advance. I'd love to see Xiao Chun and Yang Pan get into a fight. I'd love to see them fight each other." Jun Xiaoyao smiled. He knew that because of Wu Mingyue, Xiao Chun and Yang Pan would definitely have a conflict. When the time came, wouldn't it be interesting to see two leaks fighting each other? The whole book. Chapter 96. After coming up with a plan, Jun Xiaoyao left the Jun residence alone in a carriage pulled by a 9-headed lion, heading for the Panwu Jin dynasty. He didn't bring Jun Zhangjian and the others, not even Jun Linglong. This time, Jun Xiaoyao was going to act alone, and it was inconvenient for him to bring them along. Just after Jun Xiaoyao left the Jun residence, the entire mystic realm was gradually stirred up. This was because the Panwu Jin dynasty released news that a grand banquet would be held in the forbidden city of the Panwu Jin dynasty half a month later. The Panwu Jin dynasty would invite all forces of the Huangtian mystic realm to attend. At that time, the Panwu Jin dynasty would also choose Wu Mingyue's son-in-law from the young talents of many forces. As soon as this news was released, countless forces moved. All kinds of ships, carriages, and flying beasts swept across the sky from time to time, heading in the direction of the Panwu Jin dynasty. As a powerful, immortal Jin dynasty, if they could marry the eldest princess and become the son-in-law, it could almost be said that they had formed an alliance. Those top orthodoxies wanted to form an alliance with the Panwu dynasty to reach a higher level. As for the immortal forces, they wanted to make the Panwu dynasty their ally. After all, it was difficult to do things alone. Even if it was a powerful immortal force, if they didn't have an ally, they would still be at risk of being surrounded by other immortal orthodoxies. Because of this, many forces were moved and prepared to send their disciples to try their luck. Not to mention, the eldest princess of the Jin dynasty was a stunning beauty. She was very popular, and her beauty was known far and wide in the Huangtian mystic realm. The combination of these two reasons made the Panwu Jin dynasty's banquet very grand. However, at the same time this news was released, at the residence of the champion, Marquis Champion Yang Pan spoke again. He said that if the son of God of the Jun family didn't dare to accept the challenge, then in the future, he would personally go to the Jun family's mountain gate to challenge him. As soon as this news was released, it caused a huge commotion. Many people felt that this Marquis champion was too arrogant. He even dared to block the entrance of the Jun family's mountain gate. Long Hao Yin, the last person who had challenged the Jun family at the mountain gate, had already died. Many female cultivators who worshipped Jun Xiaoyao were furious. This ugly Marquis of champion is jealous of my Xiaoyao's peerless beauty. That's right. So what if he's strong? Doesn't he know that this is an era where looks matter? Besides, my family Xiaoyao is also invincible among his peers. What does that Marquis champion amount to? In the Jiang family of the remote antiquity. Abominable, abominable, too abominable, infuriating. A petite figure of Ling Long stomped her feet. She was so angry that her twin ponytails were sticking up behind her head. Her delicate and pretty little face also had a fierce and cute expression. Luo Li, if you don't cultivate properly, you'll be locked up in the family's land forever. Not far away, Jiang Shengyi, who was dressed in a snow-white robe and looked like a fairy, walked over. Seeing Jiang Luoli's fierce face, she felt a headache coming on. Luo Li can't take this lying down. That Marquis champion is spreading such news to smear brother Xiaoyao's reputation. Jiang Luoli pouted, her face full of anger. It's just a petty person making trouble. That Marquis champion is famous for his bad temperament. You don't have to worry about it. Xiaoyao doesn't care either, Jiang Xingyi said. The news of the Marquis champion challenging Jun Xiaoyao spread like wildfire in the mystic region. Although Jiang Luoli was in seclusion in the family's land, she could still get the news through her maids. No, I have to come out of seclusion and go to the Panwu Jin dynasty, Jiang Luoli said. What are you going to do? Are you going to fight for the position of prince consort? Jiang Xingyi joked. I'm going to suppress that Marquis champion and stomp on his face to vent my anger. Let's see if he still dares to provoke brother Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli said righteously. Oh, is that all? Jiang Xingyi smiled slightly, as if she had seen through Jiang Luoli. Jiang Luoli's face turned slightly red when she heard this. She lowered her head embarrassedly and twisted her two jade fingers together. Of course, although I know that brother Xiaoyao won't fight for the position of prince consort, but what if? Jiang Luoli stammered. Obviously, Jiang Luoli was afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would attend the banquet and fight for the position of prince consort and marry Wu Mingyue. After all, Wu Mingyue was also a very famous peerless beauty. There was almost no man who could not be moved by Wu Mingyue. That's your main purpose, isn't it? Jiang Xingyi said with a smile. They hadn't even married yet, and Jiang Luoli had already become a protective little hen. Jiang Luoli was very embarrassed by this, and her sparkling earlobes were completely red. All right, then I'll take you there. Jiang Xingyi smiled helplessly and rubbed Jiang Luoli's little head. Oh yeah, Sister Xingyi is the best. Jiang Luoli's beautiful eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. Jiang Xingyi also smiled, but there was a slight trace of undetectable sadness in the depths of her eyes. This girl, she really liked Xiaoyao. On the other side, in the territory of the Yi family of the clan of the ancients. On the peak of a towering mountain, a handsome blue-robed young man with dashing eyebrows and bright eyes sat cross-legged. The sky above his head was like a curtain of night. A dazzling river of stars flowed in the night sky. Amidst its beauty, there was also an extremely dangerous aura. This young man was none other than Yi Xingyun. Early on at Jun Xiaoyao's 10-years-old banquet, Yi Xingyun was brutally ravaged by Jun Xiaoyao and was greatly embarrassed. However, Yi Xingyun profited from his misfortune and awakened a certain memory. After that, Yi Xingyun's personality seemed to have undergone subtle changes. He became more and more mature and reserved. He was no longer as arrogant as before. The Marquis of Champion of the Jin dynasty from Panwu will definitely challenge Jun Xiaoyao to a battle. Yi Xingyun narrowed his eyes slightly as he pondered. Although his personality had changed a little, his hatred remained the same. He wanted revenge on Jun Xiaoyao. He also wanted to get his hands on Jiang Luoli. Well, I'll make a trip to Panwu Jin dynasty this time. I can also find out the true strength of Jun Xiaoyao. Yi Xingyun made up his mind and asked Uncle Fu to prepare the carriage. In a vast and ancient spiritual mountain in Crimson Province, the entire spiritual mountain covered an extremely large area and was shrouded in mist and clouds. There were strange rocks, steep peaks, flying phoenixes, and circling phoenixes. At a glance, one could not see the end of the mountain range. This area was one of the Archean royalty, the ancestral land of the Wanhuang spiritual mountain. The Wanhuang spiritual mountain was one of the top Archean royalty on par with Zulong. It had a deep foundation and was powerful. At this moment, an old voice came from one of the mountains. Huang Xuani, Feng Qingling, the two of you go to Pan Wu Jin dynasty. Remember, don't tarnish the reputation of the Wanhuang spiritual mountain. Yes, we will obey the great elder's order. In the mountain range, two figures, a man and a woman, wrapped in blazing divine light, soared into the sky. In the sky, two golden phoenixes were pulling two chariots. The two figures flashed into the carriages. I wonder if we will be able to see the rumored son of God of the Jun family this time, Feng Qingling said in the carriage. I also want to see what kind of person Jun Xiaoyao is, who made Zulong lose face again and again, Huang Xuani said. But we are not Long Hao Ian and Long Biqi. Feng Qingling chuckled. If Jun Xiaoyao underestimates us, I'm afraid he will suffer a lot. Huang Xuani's tone was very relaxed, with a hint of self-satisfaction. The whole book. Chapter 97. Just as the entire immortal realm was in a state of turmoil, Jun Xiaoyao, who was in the eye of the storm, was about to reach the capital of the Panwu Jin dynasty. Along the way, he passed through several transportation arrays and arrived at the Panwu Daozhou. The capital of the Jin dynasty was located in the central region of the Panwu Daozhou. There was still half a month left, which was enough for Jun Xiaoyao to make his next arrangements. At this moment, the nine-headed lion's voice came from outside the carriage. Master, the capital of the Jin dynasty is in front of us. Jun Xiaoyao lifted the curtains to take a look. In front of them, there was an extremely majestic city that stood tall on the ground. The entire city was vast and boundless. The city walls were like the Great Wall, extending to the left and right endlessly. Within the capital, there were pavilions, terraces, and pavilions. The streets were bustling with people. There were also many floating islands in the sky. There were palaces scattered on them, which made it look like a celestial palace. This Panwu Jin dynasty is indeed worthy of being called the immortal Jin dynasty. It's quite impressive. Jun Xiaoyao sized it up. The immortal orthodoxies were superior. They were giants in the immortal realm. None of them were simple. It was also because of this that although the Jun family and Zulong had a deep hatred for each other, they had never started an immortal war. Both sides knew that it was not easy to completely eradicate an immortal orthodoxy. Of course, strictly speaking, Zulong was more afraid of the Jun family. As for the Panwu celestial dynasty, it was the orthodoxy created by great Emperor Panwu. Although it was no longer at its peak, it had not fallen by much. Jun Xiaoyao's figure descended from the sky. The nine-headed lion broke free from its reins and followed Jun Xiaoyao. Goshing, aren't you too conspicuous? Jun Xiaoyao glanced sideways. The nine-headed lion's body seemed to be made of gold. It emitted a golden light that was so dazzling that it was difficult to open one's eyes. It was too dazzling. Jun Xiaoyao did not want to become a monkey in a zoo and be surrounded by people. Moreover, some of the things he wanted to do couldn't be too flamboyant. "Master, can you not call me by my real name?" The nine-headed lion muttered in a low voice. Then its body suddenly shrank. Finally, under Jun Xiaoyao's gaze, it turned into a Shiba Inu. Yes, in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, it was no different from a Shiba Inu. However, this nine-headed Shiba Inu looked a little weird and funny. Is this a walking emoji pack? Whatever. Jun Xiaoyao sighed softly. At least the nine-headed Shiba Inu was not as ostentatious as before. With his hands behind his back, Jun Xiaoyao entered the imperial city through the city gate as if he was taking a leisurely stroll. When the Jin dynasty soldiers guarding the city gates saw Jun Xiaoyao, they were all shocked and did not dare to stop him. It was because Jun Xiaoyao's temperament was too extraordinary. His body was surrounded by a faint divine glow and was enveloped by an immortal radiance. His entire body was suffused with an immortal aura and Tao will. This was naturally attributed to the immortal bone of the great Luo that he had refined. Jun Xiaoyao's appearance was also shrouded by the immortal radiance, making it difficult for people to see clearly. Just like that, Jun Xiaoyao entered the imperial city without any hindrance. After Jun Xiaoyao left, a young guard asked in confusion, "Guard captain, why didn't you stop that person and check his identity? It's a rule that all cultivators have to be checked when they enter the city." The guard captain glared at him and said, "You're such a hothead. You can't just stop someone like that. Maybe he's the pride of some immortal orthodoxy, and his status is no lower than that of the princess royal." "Oh, I see." The young guard also nodded, feeling a lingering fear in his heart. After Jun Xiaoyao entered the imperial city, he attracted a lot of attention. Although his appearance was covered by a faint mist, his temperament could not be concealed. Many young girls and female cultivators from major forces couldn't help but glance at Jun Xiaoyao from the corner of their eyes. In the entire Huangtian mystic realm, there were many people who knew Jun Xiaoyao's name, but very few people had actually seen him. In addition, there were many disciples from immortal orthodoxies with imperial bodies, divine bodies, and so on, who were shrouded in mist. It was impossible that everyone who was shrouded in immortal radiance was Jun Xiaoyao. Therefore, no one could see through him. At this time, a young girl in a plain green dress looked hesitant, but in the end, she gritted her teeth and walked forward. "Sir, this is your first time in the imperial city of the Jin dynasty. I can show you the way and understand the situation." The young girl named Qin Xian looked nervous. She had also received many disciples from major forces, but this was the first time she had seen someone as mysterious and extraordinary as Jun Xiaoyao. The other female cultivators only dared to watch from afar, not daring to get close. "Oh!" Jun Xiaoyao's gaze fell on Qin Xian, and he raised his eyebrows slightly. Qin Xian was only 15 or 16 years old, but her cultivation was at the celestial bridge stage. He noticed this, but he didn't say anything. "Okay, then you lead the way." Jun Xiaoyao took out a piece of supreme-grade celestial source. The group of passers-by around them were stunned. "Damn, that's a supreme-grade celestial source. That man is too rich, isn't he? He must be the successor of some immortal orthodoxy. I envy that girl." There were many exclamations around. Many female cultivators bit their lips and stomped their feet, secretly cursing themselves for missing the opportunity. Qin Xian's mouth was slightly open, and she seemed to be flattered. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. That was because the supreme-grade celestial source was already the most common currency he had. "Sir, let me tell you the latest news. In a few days, the Jin dynasty's Princess Royal's Prince Consort Banquet will be held, and the Marquis Champion will challenge the Son of God of the Jun family at the peak of the Forbidden City. I heard that the Son of God of the Jun family is a godlike figure, and he is invincible among his peers." When Qin Xian mentioned Jun Xiaoyao, her beautiful eyes were filled with longing. After all, Jun Xiaoyao was already the dream of millions of girls in the mystic realm. The nine-headed lion, who was following beside her, had a strange look in his eyes. If this girl knew that the person beside her was the son of God of the June family, whom she worshipped and longed for, she would probably faint from excitement. However, when the marquee champion was mentioned, her emotions were obviously not right and fluctuated. There seemed to be a hint of hatred in her eyes. Jun Xiaoyao saw this and asked casually, "If the son of God of the Jun family really agrees, who do you hope will win?" When Qin Xian heard this, her eyes were filled with hatred. She said without hesitation, "Qin Xian hopes that the son of God of the Jun family can win and even kill the marquee champion." Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with surprise. He said, "At your age, you are already at the great perfection of the divine bridge realm. Your background should not be simple, right? How did you end up being a guide?" Qin Xian clenched her fists and said in a low voice, "I was originally from the Marquis Qin's residence. My father was the Marquis Qin of the Jin dynasty. As for my mother, she was a rather famous beauty in the divine dynasty. Later, she caught the eye of the Marquis champion, who wanted to bring her into his harem. My father refused and was killed by him. My mother also died for love. The entire Marquis residence declined, and I could only wander outside," Qin Xian whispered. The hatred in her eyes was so strong that it could not be dissolved. "So that's how it is." Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. He did not have much sympathy for her. After all, there were too many people in this world who deserved sympathy. Jun Xiaoyao was also not the kind of Virgin Mary who pitied people when he saw them in misery. Qin Xian recovered her emotions and forced a smile. "I'm sorry. You must be unhappy with me for saying so many personal things. Don't you want revenge?" Jun Xiaoyao asked. "Revenge?" The Marquis champion was like a local tyrant in the Panwujin dynasty. Who could take revenge on him? Qin Xian said bitterly and powerlessly. Above the imperial city, at the top of the forbidden city. At that time, perhaps you can look forward to it. Jun Xiaoyao said softly. With his hands behind his back, he walked leisurely in front of her. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's back, Qin Xian was a little stunned for a moment. She did not understand what Jun Xiaoyao meant by that. The complete book.